Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if neglected Naruto was in Mortal Kombat. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by Ninjarokusai and link in the description and support writer. Let's start the video. Chapter 1. What happened? Naruto sat in his room very early in the morning, going over what had just recently transpired. As far as he could remember, it was always like this. However, he never understood why things like this happened. Even if he did absolutely nothing on that particular day, he knew something, on some level, was going to happen. He never knew why, it just did. Things always happened. The villagers would stare him down like he was the scum of the earth and needed to be destroyed. Some of them wouldn't even sell him groceries or any other basic items he needed for survival. The ones that did sell things to him only sold him the absolute worst products, on top of that they were always rotten, broken, whatever the case may be, the things were never in prime condition like everyone else got them. Food was always spoiled or had mold on it. Things like toothbrushes had broken and jagged handles, and he would accidentally end up cutting his hand. The merchants that sold him clothes, if they could even be called that, were always torn and stained, clearly used for far longer than they were meant to. The crap apartment that he was forced to live in, courtesy of the third Hokage, was the only one available. Every single thing that he had to get was sabotaged in some form or another. On top of that, ever since he could remember, on certain nights a group of villagers, and sometimes ninja, would chase him down the streets of Konoha. They always caught him. Always. When they did catch him, they would unmercifully beat him until he was within an inch of his life. Some would say things like, let's just kill him now and be done with it. If we killed him, we wouldn't be able to get him next time, wouldn't we? Death is way too lenient for this demon. After everything he has done, he doesn't deserve the cold embrace of death. He never understood why things like this happened. However, he would take all of that over what had happened earlier tonight. Nothing. Absolutely nothing happened. He would take all of the beatings, all of the glares, all of the name calling, all of it, if he wouldn't be alone for just one night. For tonight was his birthday. October 10th, Naruto Uzumaki was now 20 years old. He was briefly considered the hero of the Fourth Great Shinobi War. People actually acknowledged him. The thing he had wanted most of his life, he had finally received. Only for it to suddenly disappear one day, and it all went back to the way it had been for his entire life. Abused, neglected, alone. All of his so-called friends had just moved on. Everyone forgot about him. Like he just ceased to exist. Or rather, like he never existed at all. People went back to their families, resumed hanging out with their friends, or just simply moving on with life. This, adding on to what had happened earlier tonight, finally broke him. Flashback, approximately 6 hours ago, Naruto was walking down the streets of Konoha, finishing his last bowl of his favorite food. Things had progressively gotten worse for our young ninja, things going back to the way they used to be for him. All the glares, all the hate, everything. Granted, he was much older and was more than capable of putting the entire village in its place, but he was a loyal Konohanin, he just couldn't bring himself to do something like that even if he wanted to. After a few months of this occurring, he decided to have some late-night ramen. Nothing like a little bit of comfort food, huh? He said to himself. About 20 minutes later and a full belly, he began his trek back to his apartment. About halfway there, he began to hear faint shuffles behind him. He was a ninja now, one who was a main force in ending the war, so he thought that no one would be dumb enough to even try to sneak up on him. Then the footsteps got closer and closer. He wasn't worried, but whatever this was now had his attention. He walked a few more steps and then suddenly, with a burst of speed befitting a Jinchuriki, ran down the street and up on the side of one of the buildings. When he got to the top he stopped and turned around and looked down to see what exactly was going on. 3 villagers got together and spoke to each other. Damn it, he got away. I didn't think he heard us. I told you we shouldn't have snuck on him. He's a ninja for crying out loud. But no one listens to me now, do they? The third one, apparently the leader of the trio, spoke up next. That's enough of you two. Now, because you two idiots wouldn't shut the hell up and be quiet like I told you, the demon has gotten away. Sorry boss, the first unnamed man said. Do we give up the chase? The boss guy looked at him as if he were stupid. Of course not, Dumbus. We get the demon and avenge our families that were lost to us during the Kyuubi attack. Now let's go. The 3 men kept looking in the general vicinity for about 10 minutes, all the while Naruto was keeping an eye on them from the rooftops. Really? They're going back to all this crap again? Was me not saving them from pain and the war not good enough or what? He thought to himself. Naruto left back to his apartment when the 3 men eventually left. When he finally got there, he saw his front door and front window had been broken into. Yep, just like the old days, he said aloud. He walked up cautiously with a kunai in one hand and slowly pushed open the remains of the door. Walking into his home, he was ambushed by several Anbu ninja. He jumped back and immediately shouted, "Hey! What the hell is wrong with you guys? I'm on your side, jackass. One Anbunin stepped forward, clearly the leader of the group. Naruto Uzumaki, you will come with us. Heh, yeah right. Who the hell are you anyway? The Anbunin didn't answer him. It was then that Naruto realized that the supposedly Anbunins wore plain white masks, apparently linked to another group. Ah, now I see. So, even with Danzo dead, you guys still do his dirty work. Our instructions are ongoing until they are either completed or we are dead. Is that so? Well my dear boy, guess which one you are. Hey, it's the demon. Get him boys. Naruto turned around and saw not only the three that were chasing him earlier, but they had also brought what looked like at least 10 other villagers with them as well, all of them carrying various weapons of their own choice. Looks like you are at a disadvantage, Uzumaki, the leader of the route patrol said. If you surrender now, we will dispatch them for you. Disadvantage? Have you forgotten who you're talking to? Shadow clone jutsu. 10 clones popped out of the smoke surrounding them all. Take him out boys. Yeah. Let's go guys. All of the shadow clones rushed towards to route patrol. The route were good, almost on par with the Anbu, but they forgot how fast he and his clones had become. Before they could move a muscle, 2 clones had attached themselves to each one of the route. Who is at a disadvantage now? Shadow clone kamikaze. A split second later, smoke and route patrol remains were all over his residence. The people outside were stunned at the brutality they had just witnessed. Naruto turned to them and said, I don't know who you retards are, but if you think I'm gonna let you guys do anywhere close what you did all those years ago, I won't hesitate to hurt you. You have one chance to leave unscathed. Go, now. The villagers that wanted to hurt the demon again just stood their ground, albeit shaking. One villager spoke aloud, you killed my boy. My wife. I saw them dead under a building that you demolished demon. You will pay for my suffering. Really? Is that why you are coming at me again? With that same, retarded excuse as before. Look at me you fool. Do I have 9 tails? Am I a fox? Am I 100 stories tall? No. Open your damn eyes all of you. The villagers just stood there, staring at him like they had for years. Having enough, he said to them, tell you what. You want your demon? I'll give you your demon. Naruto removed his shirt and channeled chakra, causing his seal to appear. He pointed at it, saying you all see this seal. This is the actual cage holding the 9 tails at bay. This seal is the key to opening and closing it. If I open it, guess what? 9 tails is here. If you kill me, guess what? 9 tails is here. If I'm alive or don't open the seal, 9 tails stays inside. It's really that simple. But, you all want your demon Suo badly, so tell you what. Let me just open this seal and… Nuo. Don't do that. One of the villagers cried out. What? Said Naruto, I thought you wanted your demon. So, I'm giving him to you. Naruto turned his hand on the seal, and the villagers could visibly see the seal slowly turning clockwise. They began to shake in fear, and one man even went down on his knees and began begging, please don't set it free. Protect us Naruto. What the hell? Thought Naruto. These guys were just trying to kill me, and now they are begging me? Man, these guys deserve to go. Naruto turned his hand the other way, relocking the seal, therefore holding the Kyuubi at bay once again. He looked up at the villagers with disdain, venom in his voice. Leave. Now. And if I ever, and I mean ever, see you again, I will kill you on sight. Witnesses and consequences be damned. Leave. The villagers scrambled away like the cowards they were. He was scared though. He wasn't scared that they were trying to kill him, no he could kill them all without them even knowing in a blink of an eye if he wanted to. No, what scared him is if things like this were going back to the way they were, would everything else just get worse? He didn't know if he could handle that kind of emotional and psychological trauma by himself all over again. So, instead of repairing his door and his window, he just walked inside, amidst all the gore from the previously alive root retards, and sat on his bed and cried. Why is this happening again? I saved them. Do I really have to be alone all over again? This sucks. He got up and punched a hole in his wall, yelling out I am tired of being alone. He sat back down on his bed, still crying from his past pain that he had repressed in his mind for so long. He thought that all of that bullcrap was gone for good. But now that it was coming back in full force, what is he supposed to do? Chapter 2. Where the hell were you? Naruto woke up the following morning, not realizing he had fallen asleep. He had apparently slept in for some time, due to the fact that the sun was shining brightly outside. He got up and looked around in his partially destroyed house. Story of my life huh? Making the hand sign, he made 15 shadow clones. I need you guys to clean the place up and get rid of all this garbage. We can't be living among this can we now? No boss, we'll take care of it. Thanks guys, I really appreciate it. The clones stopped somewhat and looked at each other once the original left the room to go shower. One of the clones said he never stops to thank us, I mean we are just his clones. What's up? Another clone answered boss is really bummed out right now I guess. let's clean up so he can take it easy. The clones got work as fast as they could while the original was taking a shower. About 15 minutes later, an unexpected visitor arrived at his front door, clearly appalled by the damaged apartment and what little mess there was left of the route patrol remains from the night before. She didn't notice one of the clones addressing her until a pair of fingers snapped in front of her fingers. Snap snap. Ino. Hey, you okay? Ino Yamanaka had apparently been lost in her own world because when she focused her attention back in the real world, she saw that all of the clones were looking at her with a hint of worry on their faces. Oh, sorry. I was just wondering where Naruto was. Lady Tsunade needs us at the tower. Oh. Well, why didn't you say so? Boss is in the shower right now. Want us to go get him? Oh, not that's okay, said Ino. Feeling a bit of her girly troublesome side of her switch on, she said, I'll get him. You guys just keep on doing what you're doing. By the way, what are you doing? Oh my god, is that a FUCKNG finger? Why is there a severed finger in here? What have you been doing? Where's Naruto? Whoa, calm down Ino. One of the clones said, hands up in the air in a calming motion. Boss was attacked last night, but he took care of it. Nothing to worry about, okay? Oh okay, but clean this mess up right now, you hear me? Ino yelled a little shakily. Ooh, yeah, that's what we were kind of doing Ino, one of the clones said bluntly. Ugh, just let me through, huffed Ino. She went by all the clones and went down the hallway towards the sounds of running water. She knocked on the bathroom door yelling, hey blockhead, let's go. Lady Tsunade needs us, come on. She knocked a few more times and still received no answer. Remembering what the clone said about the attack, she began to be a little worried for her fellow blonde-haired ninja. Opening the door slightly, she peeked her head inside and called out, Naruto, you in here dummy? I said we gotta go. Still getting no answer, she walked inside the bathroom. The hot water was apparently on full blast due to the entire room being filled with hot steam. She looked at the closed shower doors but squinted a little bit because she thought she saw a little red on the doors. Seeing that she wasn't just seeing things, she rushed to the shower doors and forcefully opened one of them. What she saw next she was not ready for. There sat Naruto, completely naked, cuts all over himself. Cuts littered his arms, legs, chest, even one across his throat. Even though she could visibly see the wound slowly healing, no doubt due to the Biju's chakra inside of him, he still looked like death itself. She looked up a little bit and saw what she thought were red marks on the shower doors earlier. They were actually words on the wall, written in Naruto's own blood. I am not a demon. Why does everyone hate me? What did I do to deserve this? I can't take it anymore. I want it to end. Let me see my parents. Let me be at peace for once. Let me go. Ino just stood there for a moment, not believing what she was seeing. Doing the only thing her body would allow her to do for the moment, she screamed. Naruto. Sounds of stomping feet came closer and Ino heard the clones come to the door. Ino, what's wrong? One of the clones asked. She turned to them and yelled at them, two of you go get Lady Tsunade now. The rest of you help me carry him to the hospital. He's hurt himself bad. He's healing, but I don't know if he'll make it. Let's go now. Two clones left immediately while two more came inside the bathroom and helped her retrieve the self-injured ninja. Carrying his dead weight out of the bathroom and into the living room, she and the clone set him down on the now clean floor. I'm going to try to heal him as much as I can, stated Ino. The rest of you go to the hospital and make sure they have an operating room ready to go. Go now, hurry up. Gotcha Ino. One of the clones said. As the remaining clones left to go perform their own tasks, Ino got on her knees to perform hers. She put her hands in the ram sign and began to channel as much chakra as she could. For wounds like this, and as many as there are, I have to get as much chakra as I can to heal him quickly, she thought. She then put her hands out towards the body of her friend once she had enough chakra ready. Her hands emitted a large green glow that covered his entire form. After a few minutes, all of Naruto's wounds were gone, but he was still out cold. Just then, Tsunade, one of the legendary Sannin and 5th Hokage, walked into the apartment. Ino, what the hell happened? Move aside. Ordered Tsunade. Ino moved over to the other side of Naruto while Tsunade performed her own diagnostic check on the blonde. I don't know. I came to tell him to go to the tower. I found his clones cleaning up the place from some attack on him last night, heard him in the shower, and I found him like this. His clones and I dragged him out here and I healed him as much as I could, but I don't know if I was good enough. What? He was attacked and didn't report it. Oh well, we'll worry about that later, said the Sannin. And Ino, you did a marvelous job. All of his physical wounds are healed perfectly. Well done. Ino smiled in relief. Oh thank God, she wheezed out. However, said Tsunade, I can tell his mental psyche is down for the count. I'm not sure why, that's not my clan's specialty. Ino, I need you to go in his mind and see what's causing him to stay down. I can't have on EOF my finest down from a coma. Hi, Lady Tsunade. Ino performed her clan's jutsu and went into Naruto's mind. When she got inside, she didn't expect to see what she did. Right there, staring her square in the face, out of his cage, was Kurama, the nine-tailed fox. She stood there, trembling in fear of the giant Biju. Ooh, hi. Ruer. Ino fell flat on her bottom, blown back by the sheer force of sound from the fox. She looked up again at the fox who had walked way too close for comfort. Each of his front paws, easily the size of 2 Hokage towers, were on each side of her, and his muzzle was mere inches from her frame. If he was going to eat her, there wasn't a thing she could do about it. She felt the hot breath from the creature wash over her as he let out a long, low grumble. He bared his huge fangs and suddenly yelled out, "Where the hell were you? Where were your friends? Where was everyone? Naruto is my kid. You all let him suffer for too damn long. Just one. Just give me one good reason why I shouldn't eat you right here, right now. You have one chance, girl." Ino sat there, almost shitting herself from absolute fear. If she thought she had felt fear during the war, this fear in its most potent form. "Ooh," she stammered. "Answer me now, you insignificant brat." "Kurama, relax." Ino looked to her left and saw Naruto suddenly appear out of nowhere. "If what I felt is correct, Ino is the one who just healed me," said Naruto. "Kid, she, along with the rest of this wretched place, blatantly ignored and beat you your whole life. How on earth can you just say relax when I finally have one of them in my grasp to subdue some of the fires of our revenge?" The Biju Lord asked. "Because she healed me, Kurama." Naruto replied. "Naruto. If you're here and okay, how come you're not awake?" Ino asked. "Because I'm tired of the bullshit," was the simply reply. "What? I don't understand," said Ino. "Look over there, Ino. You see that pitch black doorway? That is my access to all of my memories. I can't explain them, it's too much. If you really want to understand, then go in there or as long as you can." "Naruto, what are you even talking about?" "Like I said, I can't explain it. Whatever questions you have, I'm sure they will be answered if you go in there. Don't ask me again. I'm tired of reliving it all." Kurama looked at Ino and said, "You heard the kid. You want to know the answers, what happened, what's going on, why he is the way he is right now, then you know what to do. Either get in there or get the hell out. You are wearing out your welcome very quickly, brat." Okay, I'll go inside," Ino said. "And I'll be back before you know it, dummy." "Tell you what, Ino, I'll make you a deal," said Naruto. "If you go inside and come back out like you are now, unfazed and perfectly fine, then I'll go back to the outside world with you. If not, I'm staying right here with the Kurama, pretty much the only one in my whole damn life who was by my side the entire time." "Naruto, you blockhead, you really aren't making any sense of this," argued Ino. "Once again, and for the last time, Ino, if you want answers, proof, whatever, it's all in there." "Fine, I'll see you in a bit. Good luck, brat, you're going to need it," said Kurama. "Yeah, whatever. Ino, just one thing before you go," said Naruto. "Yeah, blockhead. When you get back, I want you to answer me one question." "Yeah, what is it?" "When you get back, I want you to answer me this question while all of that was happening, where the hell were you?" Chapter 3. Now do you see? Naruto and the Kyuubi sat and just talked for hours inside of his mindscape. In the outside world, 10 minutes is equivalent to about hours of mindscape time. So much can happen in such a short amount of time inside of the mindscape, especially with all of the 9 Jinchuriki, that the changes can be astronomical. Naruto said to the fox, "Kurama, what if Ino really is here for us? You know what would it be like? I mean, to actually, really, truly have someone by your side, what is it like?" Kurama, with a somber expression, told him, "I couldn't tell you, kid. I've always been either used as open or locked up somewhere. The only reason I am okay with you is because I've been with you for your whole life, so I can tell that you have a pure heart. Unfortunately, I honestly think you might be the only one. At least from my perspective anyway." Just then, the black doorway in the corner of the mindscape shimmered a little, then Ino Yamanaka stumbled out of the darkness, looking like she had been in the war 15 times over, while suffering from chakra exhaustion. When she finally reached the 2 males, she fell to her hands and knees and began bawling as loud and as much as her lungs would let her. "OOHHH, MYYY good. I'm so sorry, Naruto, I'm so sorry. I can't believe you had to deal with that. How are you so strong? Why haven't you killed yourself yet? Why haven't you destroyed everything? Naruto, oh god." She sat there and cried for what seemed like hours. Finally, Naruto came up to her and picked her up to her feet and said, "Remember what I said earlier?" "Well, Ino, where were you?" Ino could only look at him in shame. "I was chasing after that bastard Sasuke. I don't even know why. He lost his whole family to his brother, whoopie fucking do. You never even had a family to begin with. Everything you had to do just to survive shit, I couldn't even do that now. You did it when you were 5. Eating garbage, literally, garbage. Honestly, I think the only benefit you ever got then was never getting sick. That, my dearest drama queen," said Kurama, "would be because of me. Little Ruto here would still be a little Ruto without me. Me, the nine-tailed fox, the lord of the Biju, the sexiest seducer of women out there, made little Naruto, this guy here, into a man. Really dude? Said Naruto. You know I'm gonna kick your ass for that retarded attempt at humor, right? Kurama roared with laughter, banging his knee. Well, that my dear boy was an attempt at humor. You? Against me? Boy, I shit turds bigger than you. Hell, my turds shit bigger turds than you. Alright, that's it. Come here, you stupid fox tard. Ino was absolutely confused. Not wanting to be caught up in whatever bromance the two were about to get into, she yelled out, hey. What the hell just happened? Oh, sorry Ino, said Naruto sheepishly rubbing the back of his head. Sometimes Kurama and I go at it. Play fighting, if you will. Ha. More like my turds are play fighting with you while I am bored as hell. You don't even pose as decent challenge to me, kid. You know, you are really. Tsuuo, can we get back to the outside world now? I've quite enough of your retardedness for one day. And, I'm completely drained from all of those memories. And, they were just memories. How the hell did you actually live through that, Naruto? Simple. Because I had to. Responded the hero of the war. Kid, you better get out of here with the brat now. I can feel your body beginning to wake up. Just so you know, the woman with the big tits is by your side as well. Ino stared at the fox incredulously. Did you just say that Lady Hokage had big tits? Yes. And now that I look, you're not too bad yourself, my dear. Ino looked away, a huge blush on her face. Stupid fox. Okay, said Naruto. Enough with the chit-chat. Let's go get my ass chewing out of the way. Finally, thought Ino. I can't wait to get out of this place. That stupid fox's comments got me a little flustered. Damn it. Just so you know, brat, you are in a mindscape. Which means I just heard your thoughts, girl. You stupid fox, I'm gonna gee. Kurama laughed uproariously as they faded away. Ahaha, works every time. Ino regained her consciousness right around when Naruto did. Tsunade first grabbed Ino to make sure she was okay. Going into the mind of any Jinchuriki was a dangerous game, even more so for the one holding the Kyuubi. Ino, are you alright? Asked Tsunade. Why yes, I'm fine, Lady Tsuna. As she was trying to reply to her commander, her mouth opened wide in a silent realization as all of the memories she had seen in Naruto's mindscape had hit her physically. Feeling all of the effects, she did all that she could. She screamed at the top of her lungs. She fell back onto the floor, screaming death itself. Her body flung itself about on the floor, muscles spasming out, limbs fully flexed and fixed in a very painful position. But it wasn't the physical pain that was disturbing her. No, that was a lollipop treat compared to the mental damage she was suffering due to the traumatic memories. Tsunade tried to calm her down, but to no avail. Finally, after about 5 minutes of this abnormal behavior, Ino began to calm down, then she started to cry uncontrollably. Tsunade finally got her to sit up and asked her, Ino. Hey, what happened in there? Were you attacked? Talk to me, Ino. Ino slowly shook her head. No, Lady Tsunade. No, I wasn't attacked. I saw his. You saw his what, Ino? His past. Lady Tsunade, I saw everything that he went through. Damn, I would have killed myself a long ass time ago if I had to live with that. No friends, no family, no home, no foxy, she yelled. She remembered when little Naruto was only 5 years old, he was kicked out of the orphanage he was placed in by the retarded third Hokage. He was thrown out for what, at the time, little Naruto didn't know, all he knew was that he was being forced to leave. But what about Foxy? The little boy asked. What the hell is a foxy? Replied the orphanage woman. He's my stuffed fox, it's the only thing I have. Oh, this is too good to pass up, thought the orphanage woman. You don't get it. Whatever is in this building belongs to me. Your little foxy is in here, so guess what, it's mine. Now get out. The door being slammed in his face, 5-year-old Naruto just walked away shaken up. Eventually he found an alleyway, sat down next to the wall, curled up and cried. Ino relayed this memory to Tsunade. That was one of the easier ones too, she said to the Sannin. Ino, Tsunade began, later, when you're able, I want you to write a full report on what you have discovered in Naruto's memories. Do you understand? I wouldn't do that. Both girls looked down at the blonde war hero as he was slowly getting up. Naruto. You're okay. Ino said as she hugged him in a death grip. Ow. Ino, let go. I'm not gonna be okay if you don't let me breathe. Ino let go a little embarrassed. Haha, sorry blockhead. Seriously though, are you okay? Naruto, Tsunade said. What happened? Naruto had a serious look on his face after she asked him that question. You want a report or the truth? A little surprised, Tsunade said, how about both, Naruto? Naruto said plainly, the villagers were after me. Again. After all this time, after everything I've done for them, they still don't get the fact that I'm not a fucking monster. Even root guys were after me. And by the way, Danzo must not have been very good in their training because they all sucked really bad. I got attacked by a group of villagers en route last night. But everything has been going back to the way it was for me. Ever since Sakura got married to Sasuke, Hinata marries Kiba, everyone is marrying these guys, everyone is out there having a good all time, hell even you are out on your days off getting completely wasted granny. Everyone is out doing everything with each other. Everyone is out to dinner. Everyone is out having dates and getting laid. Everyone is out with everyone, except for me. And you know what? That's exactly how it's always been too. You call for me only when you fuckers need me, and then what? I'm gone. Don't even fucking exist. None of my friends hang out with me anymore, I don't ever get a chance to even fucking say hi. Every time they see me, they turn and walk away. Sometimes, even looking at me the same way the damn villagers do. So, yeah, I fucking got tired of it all. I killed Pain, the Akatsuki, Kagaya, ended the war, saved everyone from the Tsukuyomi, and what do I get? What I've always gotten. Fucking bullshit, while everyone else gets to live their happy little bullshit lives. So yeah, I tried to fucking end it. I've had it here. I'm done Tsunade. I am fucking done. Tsunade stood there, looking at her surrogate grandson, not knowing what to say. When she looked closer, she could see the feral look Naruto now had. His eyes were now red with black slits, whisker marks had darkened considerably, fingernails had turned into 3-inch-long black claws, and his teeth had become fangs. But what actually got her worried was not the features, but the look of absolute bloodlust on his face. Then, she heard him laugh. He was laughing. But not a happy one, or one caused by humor. No, this was a low, dark evil laugh. I've had enough of this damned place. I'm out of here. Naruto, you can't just leave. You'll become a missing nin. Said Ino. Naruto, I'm sorry, but I just can't let you leave. If you force me to, I will stop you. Said Tsunade. Naruto walked right up to her and stared directly in her eyes, face literally an inch from her own. He spoke slowly, each word dripping with poison that made the Kusanagi poison seem like water. I could kill you, he said simply. I killed Kagaya. I ended the war. I saved everyone. Hell, you couldn't even stop one of the Pains. I killed all 6 by myself. You really want to try me, then go ahead. But it's your motherfucking funeral Tsunade. Now, unless you want to throw down, I highly suggest you move. The Sannin just stared at him for a moment, then she sighed in defeat. Naruto, she said, please, don't go. I'll give you a mission or something. Just don't go, please. Naruto stared at her for a minute. Fine. I won't go. On one condition. What is it? You need to publicly announce to the village who my parents were. I want a new house, and I want Ichiraku Ramen to be expanded into a full-blown restaurant. They are the only place that really fed me. They need a good expansion and growth. Tsunade contemplated his requests. Then she said Naruto, I can't just tell everyone who your parents are. There could be Iwas spies among us, and if they found out that little fact, they would hunt you down. Naruto looked at her and smiled fierily. Bring it. They began to hear shouts and screams coming from outside the house. All 3 of the ninjas went outside to see what the commotion was about and saw that everyone was looking straight up into the sky. The blue sunny sky was now gone. Instead it was swirling in a whirlpool-like fashion, and the color had changed from a bright blue to a dark purple with streaks of black. Lightning would strike every now and then, hitting a few of the buildings. No major damage done, but just enough to scare everyone to death. Then the swirling slowed down, and in the center of the storm, a little black circle formed and a light blue beam of light shot straight down onto the ground. Everyone in the immediate vicinity baked away as far as they could. The light began to fade, and the people could make out a few silhouettes. Just as suddenly as it had appeared, the light and the storm had vanished, replaced with the bright blue sunny skies. They looked back at the figures to see who they were. The larger one had grayish skin, tribal markings all over his body, and wearing what looked like an Egyptian pharaoh headpiece. Another figure was absolutely huge and had 4 arms. Another figure was female, but also had 4 arms, wearing a very thin and revealing red V-shaped one piece. Another woman was wearing a blue, very revealing and yet regal outfit, her fans out at her sides and open, ready for combat. There was another woman, who was wearing an outfit similar to the blue one, only it was green. But the last figure was the one that had caught Naruto's attention the most. The woman had shoulder-length, jet black hair and yellow eyes with black slits. Her outfit was a little similar to the other 2 women, only hers looked more fitted for combat than regality. She had tussae on either side of her belt and top showed a general amount of cleavage, clearly doing its job of seduction. Her nice, firm, heart-shaped rear end and legs were covered in thin black armor, and her legs from the knees down were pink greaves similar to the rest of her outfit. She was gazing around at the crowd and then her eyes stopped at him. And he looked directly back at her. She winked at him. The gray-skinned man with the headpiece stepped forward and yelled out to the people, "Greetings, mortals. I am Kotal Khan. My colleagues and I come from a place called Outworld. We are here to establish a friendly alliance with your realm. May I please speak to your leader? What the hell kind of bullshit is this? Tsunade said. And to think I haven't even had a drink yet. Bastards. She began to walk down his apartment entrance towards the newcomers, but Naruto pulled her back. Wait, he said to her. He made the appropriate hand sign and said quietly, Shadow Clone Jutsu. A small puff of smoke later, a clone appeared in front of Naruto. Hey boss, what's up? I need you to transform into Tsunade and meet up with those guys over there and see what the hell they want. You got it boss. Transform. The clone transformed into the well-endowed woman and began walking down the street towards the new group. No one noticed the woman in pink slip away. The cloned Tsunade walked up to Kotal Khan and said, I am Princess Tsunade Senju, 5th Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village. Why are you here? Kotal Khan spoke, I am here in the hopes of building Outworld's allied forces. A united kingdom with its allies stands strong against its enemies. What enemies are you even talking about? We have absolutely no idea who you are, where you are from, what these realms are. We know absolutely nothing about you or your group. Why should we help you or join you? She asked. Kotal Khan stood straighter, making himself look bigger. Will you accept or yield our offer of friendship? I know nothing of you. As of now, I can do neither. Clone Tsunade replied. Then you have forfeited your world to me. Kotal Khan quickly thrust his hand forward, reaching inside of the woman's chest and ripped out her heart. He held it high in the air and squished it in his hand, expecting blood to come out. Instead, the heart and the body burst into smoke. What the? Sage Art? Giant Rasengan. Kotal Khan was blown back 100 yards away by the force of the jutsu Naruto performed. Naruto sat there and stared at everyone in the arriving group. You attempted to assassinate my Hokage while unprovoked, said Naruto, red eyes ablaze. That's awesome, because me and Kurama are just itching to spill a lot of blood right now. Shadow Clone Jutsu. A single clone popped up from the smoke, but this one was clearly different. Its features were already feral, was a little bit bigger, and it had a chakra shroud with 3 tails surrounding it. Ah, now that's more like it, the clone said with Kurama's voice. It's not as good as being out here in my natural form, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. Let's rip them a new asshole Naruto. Naruto smiled as he said to the newcomers, yep, you done fucked up now. Chapter 4, the new tournament. Yeah, you guys done fucked up, said Naruto. The Kurama clone crouched down on all fours and the chakra shroud began to whip around violently and another tail sprouted out, creating a total of 4 tails. Let's get these sons of bitches. He yelled. Goro, the former champion of Mortal Kombat, stepped forward and said to both of them, you are no match for Goro, prince of the Shogun. I will tear you apart. Naruto charged a normal Rasengan in one hand and told him, I've just won a war you dumbfuck and the leader was way more powerful than you are, I can sense your energy. Compared to Kagaya, you ain't shit. Goro, enraged that someone so small would disrespect him, a prince, like that he charged forward all 4 arms ready to rip the boy apart limb from limb. The prince roared. Naruto simply stood there and waited until Goro got right in front of him, then he just disappeared. Goro looked around, but couldn't find him anywhere. Then he felt a very slight wisp of air directly above him. Goro looked up, but it was already too late. Naruto came down directly above the 4-armed creature, slamming his jutsu straight into Goro's torso, forcing him to the ground. Chunks of flesh flung around as the jutsu ground deeper into him. Goro was forced into the ground so hard that it made a small crater around them. This all happened in a fraction of a second. One thing is for sure, Goro would never forget what the boy said as he was suffering from the intense damage. Rasengan. After the cloud of dust had dissipated, Naruto stood unfazed at the edge of the small crater, the huge prince just laying there, unconscious. I told you that you couldn't amount up to me Dumbus, Naruto simply said. Ahahaha, well done kid. But now it's my turn. Said Kurama. Kotal Khan was seen running back towards the group, obviously enraged that he had been hit earlier with Naruto's Adama Rasengan. His Solak sword was out and ready to cut down anyone and anything. The Kurama clone just smiled as he bared his fangs. Then, with one extremely fast and giant leap, Kurama, in the chakra shroud, jumped at Kotal Khan. He latched onto the gray-skinned man and enveloped him within the shroud as well. Then, Kurama roared out loudly and the shroud suddenly increased 3 times its normal size, encompassing them both. The shroud was giving Kurama more power, but it was practically burning Kotal Khan alive. He screamed out in pain and tried to get Kurama off, but to no avail. Then out of nowhere, a huge bolt of lightning struck near the 2 combatants. Stunned momentarily, Kurama let go of Kotal, jumped off and prepared himself to meet this possibly new threat. Another great bolt of lightning struck again, in the same spot, but this one struck and stayed vibrating violently. When the lightning subsided, a new figure had arrived. Kotal Khan, said the newcomer, you have violated the rules of the Elder Gods. You cannot merge realms with your own without the victory of Mortal Kombat. Raiden, said Kotal, you have no business here. Leave now before I consider you a threat to Outworld once again. Hey. said Naruto to the now named Raiden. Who the hell are you? Apologies, young one. I am Raiden, God of Thunder and protector of Earthrealm. Kotal Khan here has come to your realm with the intent of either convincing you to join him to defeat Earthrealm in the upcoming tournament or to destroy you if you refused. He looked around himself at everyone and the brief battle damage. It looks like you had refused. We don't even know this guy, and what tournament are you talking about anyway? Asked Ino, who had now come up with Naruto. The tournament you are referring to is called Mortal Kombat. It is designed to give one realm a chance to defend itself from another invading realm. If the invading realm loses, the realm in defense is safe. However, if the invading realm is successful in the tournament, then it is allowed to merge the realms and rule over it. The Thunder God explained. So basically this guy here is trying to conquer our world? Asked Ino. That is correct. However he cannot, no tournament has been established. There is one between Earthrealm and Outworld that is about to commence in a few days. Would you be willing to spare a few of your warriors to aid us in our battle with Outworld? Tsunade had walked up at this point. That would my decision, she said to him. I am Tsunade, leader of this village. You have apparently helped us, so I will see what I can do to help you. Raiden slightly bowed to her in thanks. Thank you for your kindness. And by the way, I do believe you have someone from the Outworld force sneaking about you premises. Oh, yeah, said Naruto. I already know about that. You mean the lady in pink, right? Yeah, she's right over there. He pointed to a dark alley not too far from them. The lady in question, surprised that she had been noticed the entire time, stepped out and walked to them. Pretty observant, are we? She said to Naruto sultrily. Naruto just stared back at her. She then looked at Raiden and asked, if it is possible, Lord Raiden, I would like to join the forces of Earthrealm if this gentleman here will be participating on your side as well. Chapter 5. A new ally gained, a new enemy made. Raiden looked at Melina with a scowl on his face. And why should I believe you, Melina, former canon of Outworld? Are you trying to get into Earthrealm's defenses to sabotage us? And why would I do that? Do you really think so lowly of me? Asked a half-Tarkatan. Absolutely, replied Raiden. You still blame Earthrealmers for your so-called father's death, even though it was by his own doing. I wouldn't put it past you to do something low to get some misguided revenge. I understand, Thunder God, said Melina. She knew that if she were anything like her old self when she was first created, that she would most definitely pull a dirty trick like that. However, over the course of time, she had matured into the canon of Outworld. When was overthrown by Kotal and his allies, she was given a choice of death or service for life. Not wanting to die a needless death, she had obviously chose service. At least until the time came for her to break free. And that time was most certainly now. She highly doubted that she would ever get another chance like this again. On top of that, she also knew that her sister, Katana, and her good friend, Jade, also wanted out of it as well. The only reason they joined back in with Outworld was because they were supposedly promised that Edenia would be returned to its former glory. Clearly they have yet to see that end of the bargain fulfilled. So she said to the Thunder God, I am well aware of my reputation, Raiden. However, I have evolved since then. You forget, I was once canon of Outworld not too long ago. You cannot manage a realm with a broken, immature mind and spirit, she said sagely. Raiden pondered this for a few moments. He then heard Tsunade speak to him. Excuse me, but one of your foes is beginning to get up again. Raiden looked behind himself, and indeed there was Goro, slowly getting up from the crater that he was smashed in by Naruto's Rasengan. Raiden looked back at Melina and he said to her, if you truly want to be a part of Earthrealm forces, then prove it. He pointed at the staggering Goro. Then he yelled out with authority to her directly. Finish him. Melina drew out her sei without hesitation and threw them directly into Goro's eyes. The prince of the Shokan grabbed the handles screaming in pain, trying to pull them out, but wouldn't give. Melina walked up and grabbed his head and ripped it clean off with one powerful pull. She lowered her mask, revealing all of her Tarkatan teeth mixed with her normal ONES, the look she has in MKX, just in case you didn't know, and began to eat the face of the former Shokan. After a few bites, she held the head by one of the handles like a shish kebab, pulled the other one out, and slammed the severed head on the ground as she replaced her mask. She walked back to Raiden and asked, satisfied Lord Raiden? Naruto and everyone else saw exactly what happened during the fatality. Naruto just looked at Melina and said, sweet aw man, now that's more like it. Raiden looked at Melina and said to her, you are welcome to join Earthrealm, Melina. Thank you for your service in our preservation. He bowed slightly to her in thanks. She looked over at Katana and Jade and said to them, I know you two want to get out of that creep's grasp as well, sisters. Let us join Earthrealm together and exterminate this vermin for good. Katana thought about it. They did say that they were going to restore Edenia, and it's been years now, she thought. Will I ever see my home again? At least Raiden can consult the elder gods. At least with him there is a chance. I will go with you as well, Lord Raiden, said Katana. Wherever my princess goes, I shall follow, said Jade. Then it is settled, said Raiden. Earth Realm now has 3 or powerful warriors on its side. Once again thank you all. Hey, what about me? The group turned toward Naruto with questioning looks. All, except for Melina. She looked at him with interest. Melina. Katana, Jade. We had an agreement. Yelled Kotal Khan. You will not betray me. There is no agreement, Kotal, stated Katana. You promised us Adenia years ago. Outworld still has not yet freed it from its grasp. We are with you no longer, our agreement is null and void, false emperor. Shaking with rage, Kotal Khan roared, Shiva. Annihilate them. Shiva simply walked over to the group. Naruto stood in front of them, kunai held out in reverse grip. Bring it on, woman. At least I think that's what she is, thought Naruto. Quiet boy, said Shiva. I am not here to fight you or them. Quite the opposite really. What? Yelled Kotal. Why are you doing this, Shiva? Clearly, you do not understand honor or the way of the Shogun, said Shiva. When our leader and headmate are killed in battle, whoever the executioner was then becomes the new leader and headmate. Goro was killed by this boy. He is not even Shogun. Argued Kotal. Even so, my honor is alive and intact. This boy, Naruto, was it? She turned to him and Naruto nodded. This boy, Naruto, has defeated Goro in combat. Even though it was Melina who dealt the killing blow, Naruto had already killed him. His wounds were fatal, albeit a slow one. Melina simply sped it up. Therefore, by honor of combat, Naruto is now the leader of the Shogun and my headmate. She bowed low to him, all 4 arms holding their corresponding fists in a bow. What? Said Naruto. Tsunade couldn't help but crack a joke at the kid's expense. So, finally got yourself a girlfriend, huh? She instantly realized she had hit a very sore subject with Naruto, judging by the way the boy looked at her. Don't ever say something like that again. Sorry about that, Gaki, I got caught up in the moment. She said to him. Girlfriends were a bad thing to talk about to Naruto. He was still trying to get over the betrayal he had witnessed a year ago. Flashback, 1 year. Naruto was going back to his apartment, just coming back from a simple guarding mission. It was very plain and boring, just as he thought it would be. He had come back a full day early because Naruto just wanted something to do while he got his mission detailed to their home safely. Running back as fast as he couldn't wait to get home to see his now girlfriend, Hinata Hyuga. He had asked her out a couple of months after the war had ended. She almost fainted on the spot, not believing what was being asked of her. A few minutes later of her calming down, she accepted the request and had been dating for almost a year now. When he got near his front door, he saw that it was cracked open a little bit. That's strange, he said aloud. Hinata and I both always make sure the door's completely closed and locked. He walked further inside, but saw nothing out of place. Everything was fine. Which was weird in and of itself, because from his past experience, if your door, especially his door, was open after he left, that it meant that someone had broken in. He walked down the hall and towards his bedroom and saw that there were small seals on the door handle. What the hell is this, silencing and locking seals? On my own door? He said to himself. He was a seal master by this point and removing these seals was like blinking to him. He simply drew a little bit of his own removal seal on the door handle and said, Fuin Kai. He regretted removing the seals the moment they were gone. From inside of Naruto's room, he heard noises he never thought he would hear. Oh, yes. Oh yes, Kiba, don't stop. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, ah. Oh Hinata, I'm gonna bust one in you girl. Ooh, yes. Do it Kiba, do it. Ah yeah. Oh man Hinata, that was awesome. Let's do this again. Yeah, definitely. Naruto isn't supposed to be here until tomorrow, so this is our last day. Really? Aw man. Well, for 12 days in a row, I guess I can't complain. They both felt like they were being watched. They stopped their conversation and looked at the door. The door slowly opened to reveal Naruto. Only, it wasn't Naruto. It was Naruto with 4 tails. Remember the episode where Naruto fought Orochimaru on the bridge? Yeah, that Naruto. Was just sitting there on his haunches. Growling very loudly and began to walk towards them slowly. Ooh hey man. Kiba nervously said to the beast Naruto. The beast that Naruto had become once again simply stood there, watching the both of them, wide eyes narrowed slits now. And Naruto. Stuttered Hinata. I can explain, I promise. Rueire. Hinata, Ruun. Kiba and Hinata ran out of Naruto's house butt naked with the beast hot on their trails. The beast was just toying with them. He could kill them with ease, like a play toy. But, he wanted to play with his 2 new toys before he skinned them alive. The 2 ninja ran out into the streets of Konoha naked, without a care in the world for their state of undress. Then the beast burst out of his home and resumed his chase. Out of nowhere, Tsunade Senju landed in front of the beast and uppercutted him to tomorrow. When the beast landed on his back, Tsunade jumped on top of him, pulled out the spare suppressing seal that Jiraiya had given her long ago, and placed it on his forehead. Immediately the effects began. After a few minutes, when the chakra of evil had fully receded back inside Naruto, Tsunade saw the most painful face she had ever seen on his face. He was crying from hurt, rage, and betrayal. But his heart being broken was more painful than anything. Hinata why he managed to get out right before he passed out. Confused as to what Naruto may have been talking about, she looked behind her to notice the state that Hinata and Kiba were in. Seeing this, she exploded. Are you fucking kidding me, Hinata? You always wanted Naruto. You finally get him, and this is what you do. You stupid bitch. Hey, Lady Tsuna, Kiba began before he was cut off by the Hokage. And you? Naruto saved your ass more times than I care to fucking count. How dare you? She walked up quickly to the two and punched them both in the face, hearing the crunch when she broke their jaws. You two. Get dressed and get to the tower, now. You have 5 minutes. Present time. Sorry about that, kid, I forgot, Tsunade apologized. Naruto turned back to the Thunder God. I said, what about me? I'm good at fighting. Hell, I'm a ninja. We have seen ninjas before, kid. They are nothing too impressive, said Katana. Then you've never seen a real ninja, he countered. You took down Goro in one hit, Naruto, said Melina. She walked to him, swaying her hips a little bit. When she got up to him, she pressed her bust up against his chest and whispered in his ear, I like that. Maybe you can show me what you can do to me later. Naruto, you're blushing like crazy right now, said Ino. What did she even say to you? Stammered Naruto, don't know. Young Naruto, began Raiden, if you wish to join us in defending Earthrealm, you are more than welcome. You, and any of your friends as well. I'm going. Exclaimed Ino. I want to go too, came an unexpected voice. One that Naruto never wanted to hear again. Hinata walked up to Raiden and bowed to him. I Hinata Hyuga and I wish to join as well. You know what the hell I'll go too, came Sakura. Naruto wasn't expecting this. He looked around and he saw some of his former friends standing around him. What do you guys want? What does it look like, Naruto? Asked Sakura. We want to help you. Bullshit. Naruto, what is your problem? Asked Sakura. You, he said. And everyone else in this damn village. I'm done. That's why I'm going to help these guys. I've had it here. Nothing I do is good enough. Naruto, Hinata began what or why. You. Naruto pointed directly at Hinata's face, shut the fuck up. But, not. One. Word. Hinata, hurt by his words, simply nodded. Addressing everyone he said, like I said, I've had enough of this god-forsaken place. I'm done. You want answers? Ask Ino, she knows. Now, I'm leaving. Let's go, Raiden. Raiden could tell that the boy was upset about something greatly, so he decided to let the disrespect fly this time. Let us be on our way then. Lady Hokage, I will stay in touch with you. May the elder gods watch over you and your village. With that, he held up his hand, and the entire group vanished in a brilliant flash of lighting. Chapter 6. Fight. What happened? Chapter 6. Tsunade went back to the Hokage's tower to resume her work. Before she was even halfway there, she was stopped by the sounds of the village people around her. Yeah, he's finally gone. The demon has been banished. Let's celebrate. Our loved ones have finally been avenged. Tsunade grit her teeth in anger towards all of the stupid people. Geez, she thought. No wonder why the Gaki snapped. I'm about to snap myself if they don't shut the hell up. Just then, some ninjas under her command came up to her. Excuse me, Lady Tsunade. Kiba asked behind her. She stopped dead in her tracks and slowly turned around to face the borderline traitor. But she said venomously. Say, do you think I would be able to go with that group, Lady Tsunade? Kiba asked. You, Kiba, have maybe a quarter of a brain, don't you? Tsunade told him. Huh? What are you talking about? Kiba asked. After what you pulled, you honestly expect me to say anything to you other than anything related to missions? Get out of my face. But Tsunade She cut him off by grabbing his throat and squeezing it, almost breaking his neck. He fell to his knees, desperately trying to break her grasp, but she wouldn't budge. This, Kiba, she began, is your last chance. Unless I summon you to the tower, you will leave both Naruto and myself alone, is that understood? Kiba nodded as best as he could with her tightened grip on his throat. Are you sure? She tightened her grip when you said sure, emphasizing that she could definitely break him with no problem. He nodded again quickly. She picked him, choke-slammed him, rose him back in the air, not letting go of his throat the entire time, brought him in close and said, if I ever see you talk to my surrogate grandson again, I will rip you in half. She tossed him at least a good 50 feet down the street, having enough of his crap. She turned back around to the tower to have a nice drink of her favorite sake. Lightning struck the ground in Outworld, where the next tournament was to be held in a few days. We will be here for some time, said Raiden. There is a castle not too far from here. We will stay there until the tournament commences. Whose castle is it? Asked Naruto. It is mine, replied Melina. It once belonged to my father, Shao Kahn, but I have taken over since his demise. Even though I am no longer Kanem of Outworld, it is still my home. You are all welcome to stay. Thank you Melina, said Naruto. Melina looked at him again when he walked by, checking him out the whole time without him noticing. Just wait until I get my hands on you, ninja, she thought. After everyone was settled in their respective rooms, Naruto sat in on the floor in his. He got a good look in his surroundings. The bed was centered and up against the wall. It was easily a bed fit for a king. It had 4 bone-colored marble pillars surrounding it, with pink drapes connecting to each pillar. The blankets were varying shades of pink, and the pillows were white with black edges. On either side of the bed on the wall, several pairs of sei were hung up on the wall. The floor was designed with intricate black circles with pink outlining them and overlapping each other. The door was a large double door made of oak, and they were polished and in prime condition. Why do I get the feeling that I'm in someone else's room? Naruto thought aloud. He looked on the walls again, recognizing the sei from somewhere, but he couldn't think of it from the top of his head. Seeing it not as an immediately important matter, he decided he would think about that later. Instead, he sat down on the floor in a meditative position. He concentrated, and before he knew it, he was inside of his mindscape. He had altered his mindscape to allow Kurama free roam. The agreement between them was that the fox could gain access to all of his senses as if they were his own, and he could roam freely in his seal. In return, Naruto could use as much of his chakra as he liked to suit whatever his purposes were at the time. How are you doing, Kit? Asked the Biju. Doing better now that I'm out of that piece of crap place, said Naruto. Hey Kurama, do you think we made the right choice? What do you mean? When we ditched Konoha for this place, do you think we made the right choice? I mean, it's our home after all. No Kit, Kurama corrected, it's your home. Actually, it's not even your home if you think about it. Tell me Kit, what exactly is a home to you? I don't know. I guess it would be a place that I could feel safe in and would look forward to coming back to. Do you feel safe and secure in Konoha? Fuck no. Well there you go Kit. Konoha is not your home. It's a place where you once lived. The villagers never cared for you, and if you ask me, neither did any of your so-called friends. If they did, they wouldn't have left us out to dry while they all had a good time or whatever else they did. Honestly Naruto, I think you could get used to living here, Outworld, they call it I believe. Thanks Kurama. You really are the only one who has ever been there for me the whole time. Seriously, thank you. Don't worry about it Naruto hey, there's someone watching you from outside. Get out of here now. Naruto was shoved outside of his mindscape and his eyes popped open. Melina backed away, startled at his abrupt awakening. Hello Melina. Recovering from her surprise, she told him, what are you doing in my room ninja? This is the room that you assigned me, remember? He replied. Melina pretended to remember this. Everything was going exactly as planned for her. Ah yes, you are correct young one. I apologize, I must have made a mistake. Unfortunately, there are no other rooms available, she said. It was a flat-out lie, after all, it was a castle for crying out loud. She had hundreds of rooms readily available. I hope you don't mind, she continued, but you will have to share my room tonight. Naruto shrugged nonchalantly, I didn't care. It beats Kono. He was picked up and tossed on the bed, and Melina pounced on him and sat directly on his lap, lining up their crotches. She got really close to his face and whispered sexily, that's perfect, because what I have in store for you my young warrior, you will never forget. Chapter 7 Melina gets what she wants. Melina said to Naruto, you are mine tonight. I will show you how a Kanem gives her men a good time, haha. She pulled down her mask, revealing her teeth to Naruto. However, that's not what he noticed. What he had noticed was her luscious full beautiful lips, her yellow and black slitted eyes filled with lust and maybe, something a little more. Naruto had been attracted to this woman since he first saw her in Konoha. However, he never once thought that he would ever actually get a shot with her. In fact he had only recently lost his virginity to Hina the woman that he was previously in a relationship with. His body began to tense and his eyebrows furrowed together and a frown decorated his face. Melina did not miss any of this, so she addressed it. What's the matter? Am I not pretty enough for you my dear? She asked him. Then no, it's not that, it's not you at all, sorry, he said to her. I've just, never was good with girls. Especially recently. What do you mean? You're gorgeous, courageous, and undoubtedly strong. Every woman should be begging you to bed with her young warrior. Naruto just sighed annoyingly. Yeah, right. You let me know when hell freezes over, because that's when something like that will happen. He revealed to her a brief history of his past with his former home village. No one, absolutely no one, gave a damn about me, it was actually the complete opposite. They hated my very existence. It didn't change as I got older. And after the war, I got a little bit of recognition, but then it just disappeared. I don't even know what happened. And, to top it all off, my fellow Kunoichi, who was at the time in a relationship with me, had cheated on me with a motherfucking scumbag, piece of shit low-life cocksucking bastard, and, judging by what I had heard from outside the door, it had been going on for some time. If I had only known this shit before, Melina had come in front of him and hugged him close to her body. He felt her warmth, her comforting vibes. For some reason, he began trembling. He felt himself beginning to cry, but he tried to stop it. I'm a ninja. I can't show my emotions, he thought to himself. Keep it together. Sensing this, Melina said to him, it's okay Naruto. Betrayal hurts. Go ahead, let it out. Melina is here for you, let it out. She began to rub his back and hugged him closer. She felt his dam begin to break. His body racked with his silent sobs and then eventually turned into full-blown crying. The whole time Melina was rubbing his back and holding him close, whispering to him that she was there and no one would ever hurt him again. After about 10 minutes of this happening, she felt him tense up again and then relax. About 5 minutes later, she looked down and saw that he had fallen asleep in her arms like a baby being comforted after having a brutal nightmare. I saw what the village people were like to you when I was there, Naruto, she said to his sleeping form. And I promise that you will never be betrayed again. I love you Naruto. The next morning, everyone went to the main hall in the castle for breakfast. Even though Melina was no longer Kanem of Outworld, she still had hundreds of thousands of people who were faithful to her rule. Some of these people were preparing the food for her and her guests. When she got down to the hill, she was approached by Ino Yamanaka. Hey, Melina, right? She asked the former Kanem. Yes, child. Speak your mind. Have you seen Naruto? I haven't seen him for a couple of days and I'm a little worried about him. Why yes, he was in my bedchambers last night. I comforted him until he fell asleep, she said right before she left for the hall. Enjoy your breakfast Miss Ino. Ino just stood there dumbfounded. What? She slept with Naruto. What the hell? She thought. Shaking the thought, her stomach reminded her that she needed to eat. Making her own way to the hall, she couldn't think about anything else other than her in the bed with Naruto, all night, just the two of them. Naruto woke up in the bed underneath the pink covers, his shirt and headband folded neatly on one of the end tables of the bed. Getting the grime out of his sleepy eyes, he looked at his clothes and found that there was a little note on them. He picked up the note and it said, Naruto, darling, breakfast will be held in the main hall, as well as all other meals. I hope you feel better after last night. I just want you to know that I am here to help you. Anytime you need me, I will be here. If you want to talk about last night, all you have to do is ask. Otherwise, get ready to prepare for the tournament. Melina, P.S. Do not mess with my teddy bear. Feeling a small smile come to his lips, he already felt better. He was a little embarrassed about letting his feelings show like that, but apparently that was exactly what he needed. He decided that he would find her to give her proper thanks. Getting up from his bed, or rather Melina's bed, he walked out of the room towards the main hall for breakfast. After a few minutes of walking through the hallways, he finally managed to get inside the main hall. When he walked past the double doors, everyone stopped to look at him. He hadn't met any of the other newcomers, but most of the women that were there were really getting their eye candy for the day. Apparently, Naruto had forgotten both his shirt and his headband. And his pants. He was clad only in his tight black boxers, which showed an outline of his impressive package. Needless to say, a lot of the women, Melina included, lost a lot blood then due to perverted nosebleeds. And of course, our blonde friend, as dense and sleepy as he was, didn't even notice this as he sat next to Ino and Shiva. I must say, Naruto, Shiva began, it is hard to impress a Shokin, but you my dear have accomplished that, she finished with a sexy smile. What do you mean? Asked the dense blonde. Oh my god, Naruto, why haven't you told me how freaking huge you are? Yelled Ino. Now you Ino. What's going on? My dear Naruto, look at your state of dress young warrior. You are, I must say, giving us ladies here quite a show. And I myself do appreciate it, said Melina. His brain still not even on 50% yet, he dumbly asked, Shiva saw her golden opportunity. She reached down and grabbed his package with one of her hands and began to softly stroke him. Not bad at all Naruto. Definitely worthy of a Shokin woman. This, clearly, had woken him up to 100% now. He looked down and himself in only his boxers, one of Shiva's hands rubbing his junk. Oh shit. He ran out of the hallway as fast as he could, yelling out sorry. I am gonna get dressed now. Shiva laughed a hearty laugh at the blonde's expense. She then turned to Ino and said, so, is he worthy of you as well young one? Hell fucking yeah. Yelled Ino. She turned to Sakura and said, what the hell are you doing with that asshole Sasuke? I know he isn't anywhere near as good as Naruto is. Plus, he never even talks to you. What the hell girl? I know, replied Sakura. She sighed heavily. I know. I have an idea, said Melina. All of the women turned to her with questioning looks. First one to bed Naruto wins. Wait a minute, said Ino, didn't you fuck him last night? Sakura was shocked. What? Melina simply shook her head no. You obviously misunderstood me Ino. When I said that I had comforted him last night, I meant I had helped him recover. He cried himself to sleep in my arms last night. Sakura, Shiva, Katana, and Jade looked at Melina, thinking that maybe she was trying to pull something. What do you mean he cried himself to sleep? What was wrong? Sakura asked Melina. You don't know. Melina asked Sakura. According to him, you are his teammate and has been around him most of his life. How do you not know? Sakura looked away, a little ashamed of being put on the spot like that. I know what you are talking about Melina, said Ino. I've seen his memories. What, you have? Asked Sakura incredulously. Can you show me? Ino looked at her with a serious look on her face, staring directly in her eyes. Sakura knew that when Ino did this specific act that it was deadly serious. Sakura, trust me, she told her pink-haired friend, you really don't want to see it. Whatever it was hurting him badly, said Melina. I tried to comfort him last night. Hopefully, I did some good. He was really damaged, thought Ino. Poor guy, he needs some close friends right now after everything he's been through. But, can I become something more? Chapter 8. Fight. What happened? Chapter 8. Final warning. Naruto finally got dressed in Melina's room after that extremely embarrassing show that he had performed unawares. He was blushing the entire time while he was trying to get dressed. What made him upset though was not the fact that he was in an area full of attractive women when that had happened, it was that he was still hurt by a, now formerly, important female figure in his life. Hinata had betrayed him not once, but multiple times, with Kiba. And that was just the ones he knew about. And now that he really thought about the times that it began, it also right around when things started reverting back to the way they were for him. Was she a part of the village discrimination towards him? Was this some ploy to get recognized, to use him to draw the spotlight to herself? Was that I love you bullshit just for looks? Was everything from the beginning a lie? Was the fourth Hokage even his real father? Did his parents even love him? Was he actually human? Was Kurama the only being since his birth that was by his side, only pretending, waiting for the perfect moment to strike and break free from the seal? He began to doubt everything. He didn't know what to think anymore. His stomach growled very loudly. I think I'm just hungry, he thought to himself. Maybe some food will help clear my head. He left the room and headed back towards the main hall in the castle. When he re-entered, everyone was still there, chatting about various things as if nothing ever happened in the first place. Apparently no one seemed to notice him, and right now he preferred it that way. He just wanted to be left alone. He was alone his entire life. It, sadly, was his comfort zone. His shell to protect himself emotionally. Especially since the betrayal by Hinata. As servers laid down a tray of food for him, he was not aware of Sakura looking at him. Seeing him nod his thanks to the server, she began to wonder about her blonde teammate. Ino said that I didn't want to know what happened, she thought. Well, she's wrong. She has always been wrong about things like this. She was about to get up and walk to him when felt a hand firmly grab her wrist, preventing her from leaving the table. A little vexed that someone would grab her like that, she looked back, right into Melina's hard gaze. Do not bother him at this moment, she said quietly. He needs time to himself right now. Leave him be. What do you know of him? Sakura argued. He's my teammate after all. You practically just met him. I've known him his whole life. Then prove it, Melina said, not letting go of Sakura's wrist. By now some of the other girls were looking at the two. Melina said to her again, prove that you know him more than I do. Okay I will. What is the young warrior's favorite color? Melina asked. Sakura just huffed in annoyance. Huh, really? She said, that's the best you got. If you think that just because you know that his favorite color is orange, doesn't mean you know him more than me. You're wrong child, said Melina. What the hell do you mean I'm wrong? Black. His favorite color is black. Wah. Why is favorite color black Sakura? Melina asked again. I thought it was orange. I see that I am beginning to make my point. Again, why is favorite color black? Ooh, I don't know. It's because of what black represents. Intelligence, loyalty, stealth, and strength. However, it also represents death, sorrow, pain, emptiness, and loneliness. Explained Melina. Damn, Ino said, that's deep. What's his favorite food? Melina asked Sakura. Remembering that she was completely wrong just a second ago, she said ramen. Wrong again, Melina said. But he eats that all the time. Sakura said to her. Sakura, if only got to eat ramen for 95% of your life, you would eat it all the time. If you ate garbage 95% of your life, you would eat it all the time as well. You would eat it all the time because you would know that that would be your next meal. Sakura looked away in shame. Damn, she thought, she has a damn good point. Okay then, she asked, well, if ramen isn't his favorite food, then what is? Green apples, Melina revealed. Do you know why? Sakura shook her head no. Because they are quick to eat, easily accessible, plentiful, and are full of the vitamins and minerals your body needs. However, despite how plentiful they were, he never got a chance to eat one. He has only ever had one green apple his entire life, and that was when he was 6 years old. He got lucky when one of the local merchants in your village dropped one behind his stall and didn't notice it. The merchant found out a few minutes later when he caught Naruto eating the apple, and he beat him for it severely. The merchant, a full-grown man, had beat an innocent little 6-year-old Naruto for eating an apple that he didn't pay for because that same merchant wouldn't sell any to him. How many times has been in the hospital for life-threatening injuries? Sakura looked dumbfounded now, as well as Katana, Jade, and Ino. Shiva was shocked as well, but she had better control over her emotions. She was a Shokin after all. Naruto has been in the hospital for something like that, I think only once, after the failed mission to retrieve Sasuke. She said. Melina simply stared into Sakura's eyes with disbelief in her eyes. You, Sakura, are telling me that you didn't know that Naruto, before he was even 6 years old, had been in the hospital 237 times for life-threatening injuries. Sakura's jaw dropped, as did the other girls. Ino said, what? 237 times? How is that even possible? Clearly, Melina began, you do not know your teammate as well as you thought you did. You don't even know the most basic of basics about him, and you've been around him his whole life. Look at him right now, Sakura. She let go of Sakura's wrist so she could turn around to look at her fellow ninja. She saw that he was eating Ho's favorite food, a green apple in his hand, and a relieved content smile on his face. He saw Sakura looking at him, and the frown that there before had returned, and looked back down at his apple again. He put it down, cleaned up his mess, and left the hall without a word to anyone. Sakura looked back at the table she was currently at, and sighed heavily. I don't understand, she said to no one in particular. You don't understand what, forehead? Ino asked. How? How did I not see his pain? How did I not see any of it? Melina simply told her, that answer comes easy, child. You didn't care at all. You were too busy focusing on a hopeless crush that had everything, rather than someone who needed your help and had nothing. You saw the treatment he had endured in the village, or at least some of it, and yet you did absolutely nothing for him. He doesn't deserve to be hurt any more than he already has, and seeing you every single day reminds him of the betrayal that he had to endure in order to survive. Now Sakura was upset because Melina just accused her of betraying her teammate. Hey, freak show. I did not betray Naruto. Unfazed by the childish remark and behavior, she simply asked, tell me, Sakura, have you even ever told him happy birthday? What? Sakura said, surprised. Today was his birthday. No, replied Melina. It was yesterday. I was the only one who told him happy birthday, and you know what else? Sakura stood there, not knowing what to say. That was the first time anyone has ever said that to him ever. Melina said. Sakura, once again, was surprised. Never said happy birthday. She thought. Fuck. Melina stood up. Getting ready to leave, she said to her, do not ever tell me that you know your so-called teammate more than me ever again. You are a worthless emo boy chazzing cowardly girl who only thinks of herself and she has to do to get it done. I may have Tarkatan blood in my veins, but I am no monster. But that said, she turned around and walked back to her chambers, leaving Sakura and everyone else what she had just said. Oh fuck, thought Sakura, what have I done? Chapter 9, Enough is enough. Naruto was outside on a hilltop, sitting in the meditative position. Thinking deeply about his next move, he went deeper into his mindscape to talk to his good friend. Upon hearing the water drop, he opened his eyes and looked up. Kurama the nine-tailed fox looked down on him with a face mixed with anger, disbelief, and concern. You're not really planning on doing this, kid, are you? Asked the entity. I'm done, Kurama, replied Naruto. It's always like this, me getting used for someone else's purpose and me not having any sort of life of my own. I'm done with this bullshit. What about the woman, Melina? What about her? She's doing the same thing as everyone else. You heard her, she said that she was the former ruler of this outworld place and clearly she wants her throne back. She just wants to use me to get it back and then she'll toss me aside, exactly like everyone else has. If that happened in my own home village, with people that I had saved from a fate worse than death, what's to stop a world, real or whatever, someone who knows absolutely nothing about me, from doing the same thing? I'm done, Kurama. At least I'm gonna set you free first. You've always wanted your absolute freedom. That's my gift to you, my friend. Enjoy your life. Hit, don't you dare do it. Kurama yelled out, but it was too late, Naruto had already faded out. Naruto opened his eyes and took a deep breath, enjoying the cool air from Outworld. He unzipped his jacket and threw it to the side and channeled chakra to make his seal appear. He then channeled chakra to each one of his fingertips on his right hand and the seal key appeared on his hand and it traveled down his arm and connected to the seal on his stomach. "Kurama," he began, "you have helped me out my whole life, even though you were trapped inside of me. In the elemental nations, you were seen as nothing more than a weapon. Here, in a new world, you can start a new life. Maybe even see ruler or whatever, who knows. As I said, this is my gift to you. Enjoy your freedom, big guy, I'm gonna miss you." He turned the seal clockwise, unlocking the seal. He could feel the effects of it loosening and began to feel the Bijuu's chakra beginning to form and expel itself from the seal. Naruto grit his teeth in severe pain as the chakra was seeping out. It felt like he was cut into and his insides were being ripped out. He threw his head back and gasped for air and screamed as a chakra cloud the size of 3 humans came out of Naruto's stomach in the shape of Kurama's head. Finally, with one huge rush, all of the demonic chakra rushed out of his body and gathered up about 50 yards away from him. The form of Kurama had finally solidified into the entire 9-tailed fox, 100 stories tall, just as huge as he was in his mindscape. The Biju looked at Naruto incredulously as he fell face first onto the ground. Kurama stepped forward and muzzled the boy gently with his nose as softly as he could. Fearing the worst, he gently said to the boy, "Naruto, kid, get up. My boy, come on, seal me back inside of you. I know you don't want this, kid. Come on, get up." Naruto lifted his head up as much as he could, looking at the fox that was his only friend for so long, and said weakly, "Hey big guy, how's it feel to be free again, huh? That's enough screwing around, kid, seal me back inside of you." "You know damn well I can't do that, Kurama," Naruto said. "I don't know the sealing process for that. Even if I did, I wouldn't imprison you like that again. You deserve your Frito." Naruto blacked out as his face fell back on the ground, eyes closed. Kurama's eyes went wide, not believing what just happened. "Yes, I do Ino," Sakura told her one-time best friend. "I thought I knew him. I actually never knew anything. I need to know about my teammate." "Sakura, are you absolutely positive?" "I mean, it's bad," Ino told her. "Yes, Ino pig," she replied. "I'm sure. I would like to know as well," a new voice came around. The girls looked and saw Katana walking towards them with Jade right behind her. She and Jade were in their MK9 costumes. "We have been listening over the course of your stay, however short it might have been so far, and we want to know as well what had happened. From what we have heard so far, the acts themselves do not surprise us, especially if it was a prisoner of war. But it is hard for us to believe that someone would suffer from things of that nature in his own home." Ino, realizing that they would not take no for an answer, said, "Okay, come on over here. I need all of you to gather around me. Katana, Jade, Sakura, I need you girls to hold each other's hands. I'm going to transfer Naruto's memories from my nervous system to Sakura's, and it will continue through the rest of you as long as you continue to join. If you break the link, the whole thing shuts down, and trust me, you do not want to interrupt a memory feed, it fucking hurts. However, be prepared to do it this time around." "And why is that, child?" asked Jade. "Would you people stop calling us children? I'm 20 years old, and so is Sakura and Naruto." "I am over 10,000 years old, child," Katana said, smirking to herself. "I do apologize, it is not a derogatory term, but to us, you're still children." Ino sighed in annoyance. "Whatever. Just join hands." Katana, Jade, and Sakura joined hands. Ino put her hands into the ram sign, closed her eyes and began to channel chakra. When she opened her eyes again, she said to them, "Girls, this is your official last chance to back out. Otherwise, prepare for a shitload of pain." The girls nodded to her and she nodded her head in acknowledgement. "Okay, here we go." Yamanaka-style memory transfer jutsu. Holding one hand still in a half-ram sign, she thrust the other hand onto Sakura's temple and everyone's eyes began glowing a bright blue as the memories flowed through them. Immediately, Katana and Jade, seasoned warriors who have seen countless bodies on the battlefield, fought numerous battles, and hardened to the core, began to shake uncontrollably. The jutsu had only lasted about 45 seconds to a minute, but they had received every single one of Naruto's memories. Everything from his parents speaking their last words to him as a baby, to his 6-year-old self, to him beating Mizuki when he first found out about the 9 tails, to the Battle of the Pains and the Fourth Great Shinobi War, to the betrayal of Hinata. After the jutsu was completed, everyone fell to their knees, crying. Ino was the first to speak to the group. "Fuck." She yelled out. "I never thought I would have to look at those again." Sakura's body just continued to rack with sobs of sorrow. She was muttering something, but no one could tell what it was. Ino, albeit a little clumsily, leaned forward to see what her friend was saying. "I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry" was all that she could understand before she began crying again. Even the Athenian princesses were tear-faced. "I don't understand," said Katana. "How could someone hate someone so much from their own home? One who had saved them?" "I don't know," replied Ino. "But I do know that I want to kill them all for that bullshit." Then, suddenly, Sakura raised her head up so fast it was almost as if she teleported into that position. "Hinata." "What?" Ino said. "Hinata isn't here." "She's here, in Outworld," yelled Sakura. "That bitch." Sakura ran off before anyone could say anything to stop her. "Fucking asphic," Ino yelled out, pursuing her friend. Hinata was walking down the hallway, thinking about what had happened the past few days. She was interrupted from her thoughts when she heard a very loud, screeching anger and pain-filled voice screaming at her from behind. "Shanaru." Hinata turned and was hit by a brutal chakra-enhanced punch to the face, sending her flying into one of the walls 100 feet away. Hinata staggered up on her 2 feet, blood running down her nose and mouth, wincing in severe pain. "So," Hinata thought, she found out finally. "I'm surprised it took his long." "Sakura, stop." Katana yelled from behind her. "Sakura, you need to stop what you're doing." Ino backed up what Katana had said. "Sure thing," said Sakura. "Just as soon as I finished painting the wall red with her fucking blood. You hurt my teammate, you stupid fucking Byakugan bitch. All of you Hyuga are all the exact fucking same. Always looking out for yourselves and only doing things for yourselves, everyone else be damned. Naruto was gone on a simple guarding detail mission. You cheated on him. You broke his heart. And with Sasuke too. No wonder he stopped talking to me. Who else have you slept with, Hyuga slut?" Hinata was stunned that Sakura had found out that she had slept with Sasuke. She wasn't given a chance to speak on her behalf because she had to duck under a skull-crushing punch from Sakura. She saw everything in slow motion next. Sakura had become a lot faster than what she was before. The second she Hinata duck under her initial hit, she immediately followed up with a brutal right hook, chakra-enhanced fist heading straight for her temple. Her fist was stopped, a mere half an inch from ending Hinata's life, by a deafening roar that shook all of Outworld itself. Naruto. Sakura was stunned motionless, as was everyone else. Even Katana and Jade were struck with absolute fear of the voice, they had never heard anything so vicious in their lives. It was like comparing the booming voice of Shao Kahn to the horrible and terrifying roars of the worst thunderstorms of all time. Ino, having met the beast one-on-one, was the first to recover from the shock of fear. "Sakura." She yelled out. "That was Kurama." Washi stammered out. "Kurama? Who's that?" "The Nine Tails." Ino yelled out in frustration. "The fox," said Jade, "but isn't he supposed to be inside of Naruto?" "Yes, but he's clearly out," Ino said, fearing the worst. "But if the fox is out, then that means that Naruto is either dead or very close to it." Katana finished for her. They all heard the sound of footsteps sprinting. They looked out the hall and saw Melina bolting out of the castle and towards the fox. "Let's follow her, come on," Ino yelled to them all. Sakura looked back down at the bloody face of Hinata Hyuga. She reached down, grabbed her collar, and pulled her up to her face none too gently and told her in a fury-filled voice, "You're so lucky I need you to right now to most likely heal that dumb blonde baka. But, keep in mind you stupid bitch, that this is not over." She thrust Hinata in front of her and said, "Hurry up, get moving to Naruto and the fox now." They both sprinted as fast as they could along with the rest of the group. When they got there about 10 minutes later, Shiva and Melina were already there. They looked back at the girls who had just arrived with a sad look on their faces, but the feeling they portrayed was nothing compared to the sorrow-filled wails of the great beast that was Kurama the nine-tailed fox demon. He said, "I'm sorry my boy, I'm sorry I failed you Naruto. Please forgive me." He smelled the scent of blood and turned around and saw the bloody face of Hinata. The very sight of her enraged him, so much so that he reverted back to his old self for a second. His eyes grew wide with pure potent clear hatred and he roared so loudly at the girl she flew back a few hundred yards. He then turned his head up to the skies and yelled out in his booming voice, "Elder gods, hear me. It is I, Kurama. I call upon you to hold your end of the bargain we had made millennia ago. You promised me that if I were to ever have any feelings for a human, that you could resurrect him if I were bonded to him or her for life. I have feelings for the one Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. This is my friend and my ally and my brother. Hold your end of the deal and bring him back." Chapter 10 Resurrection. I call upon you elder gods, hold your end of the deal. Revive my friend, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. The clouds parted and 6 huge golden glowing dragons flew out from the sky towards Kurama and the downed ninja and company. All 6 dragons landed in a circle around them. Each dragon was twice the size of Kurama and they faced inwards towards the one they spoke. "Kurama, the nine-tailed fox of the elemental nations. We, the elder gods, hear your plea. Millennia ago, when we split the Juubi into 9 beings, you were given a choice between eternal containment or being turned into a chakra construct and being sealed into a human. We know it was a heavy price to pay. As recompense, we also gave you the option to be permanently bonded to the one you felt worthy of you power, loyalty, and friendship. Also, part of the deal was that, because of the acts of whatever human you will be with, would also determine what happened to you after your sealing time was complete. It was decided that you would be partially responsible for your own outcome after your sealing, due to the fact that you would have some influence on your container. Kurama, nine-tailed fox demon of the elemental nations, we, the elder gods, have deemed you worthy of your freedom. You played an enormous role in the boy's suffering in his early years, but ultimately you are also playing a major role in not only his survival, but also Earthrealm's. Because of your due diligence, loyalty, and perseverance, we shall grant you your freedom and whatever single choice you so desire. Simply inform us of what it is, and it shall be yours. Kurama was stunned. He didn't expect them to do all of this. What I desire is for this young man, Naruto, to be resurrected back to life, with the proper means to protect himself and everyone he holds dear. Also, I would like to remain a part of him. I would like for him to summon me every now and then, but Naruto is my friend. I will not abandon him. Is this your decision, Kurama? It is, elder gods. Very well. Kurama, we the elder gods, hereby declare you free from your sealing. You shall now remain a part of Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. You will prolong his life with your chakra, along with his own Uzumaki bloodline, as well as whatever mates he shall have in the future. The elder gods turned back to the body of Naruto. All of the girls could do nothing, they were in complete shock of what just happened. Especially Ino and Sakura. The Nine Tails just spoke to a bunch of gods, what the hell. They felt so small and insignificant to the huge beasts. Then, the elder god spoke in a different language no one could understand. As one, all 6 elder gods began chanting, repeating the same phrase over and over. After a couple of minutes of this happening, they suddenly stopped. They all stood on their hind legs, spread out their wings in full, and gave one huge collective roar that shook the world itself. Brrrr. Immediately, Naruto's body began glowing the same hue of gold as the elder gods. He was lifted upright, set on his feet, and was held there by an unknown, unseen force. Then he glowed such a bright gold that everyone had to shield their eyes from the brilliant glow. This continued on for at least a good 5 minutes. After all, bringing a life back from the dead, especially one that was self-induced, was no small matter. Slowly, the glow began to soften. When everyone was able to look at the young man again, they couldn't believe what they were really seeing. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze was alive and well. He stood there, looking confused. What happened? Why am I here? He said to no one in particular. I am, Kudino. Someone's looking good. Millimeter. But Sasuke to shame that's for sure, Sakura agreed. I believe my headmate and leader of the Shogun has fully matured, approved Shiva. Well my sisters, said Melina to Katana and Jade, I think we have scored quite a handsome one, don't you think? Definitely worthy to be king of Outworld. And my king as well, hehehe. Katana and Jade could only nod in agreement. Even Kurama was impressed by Naruto's new look. Now you look like a proper container of the nine-tailed fox brat, Kurama complimented with a smirk. Naruto didn't know what was going on. He looked at himself and saw that he was somehow wearing a blood-red trench coat jacket over a black sleeveless shirt and pants. Around his waist was a regal, battle-ready looking belt with a green drape in the front, signifying power and importance. He still had his headband in his usual spot. Underneath his shirt and pants he wore white chainmail. On the sides of his upper arms were metal plates and 3 overlapping each other. On his forearms he had gauntlets that looked like they were for both show and battle. On the inside piece of the gauntlet were compartments that stored a 6-inch blade that expel and RETRACT Assassin's Creed hidden blade. Disclaimer, I don't own AC, but it would be cool as hell if I did. There was a huge broadsword attached to his belt on the BACK Cloud sword from Advent Children and a katana on his back. He wore greaves that protected his legs from the knees down. The whisker marks that adorned his face were darkened and more feral looking permanently. He was dressed to look good and kill anyone and anything at the same time. I don't understand, said Naruto. I ended it. I was finally at peace. And now, I'm back. Why am I back? I didn't want to come back. I didn't want to come back. I could rest finally. Peace. For the first time. And it didn't even last a fucking hour before I am back. What the fuck happened to me? The elder god spoke to him in calm and yet regal manner. They were showing sympathy for the poor boy, but they nonetheless still commanded respect. We are the elder gods, Uzumaki. Your friend here, Kurama, called us in to help you, child. Everything shall be the way it was. We have restored you. However, we have not just restored you to your former self. Not just my former self. What the hell are you talking about? Naruto said through clenched teeth. He was very pissed off. He was finally going to possibly see his parents, and yet again, another golden opportunity was ripped away from him. Clearly you were never had the truth revealed to you, child. Your father, Minato Namikaze, sealed the fox within you, but it was with our help. Did you honestly think that a mere human, no matter how powerful, could seal away an entire chakra entity of pure, raw, destructive power? No, child. Also, the proper terminology we should use for your resurrection should be that we did not restore you, we granted you the knowledge and power of all of your ancestors. The third Hokage was supposed to reveal this to you. Apparently, he did not. No doubt you have questions. We will answer some of them. Recognizing the cue, he said to the elder gods, "You said you granted me the powers of my ancestors. But who the hell were they to begin with? There are too many for us to explain them all. Perhaps it would be best for us both if we just told you the clans they were affiliated with. First off, of course, is the Uzumaki clan. Then, there is also the following clans that you are a descendant of, either directly or otherwise. The Uchiha clan, Hyuga, Yamanaka, Dragonian, Senju, and the clan that really had no official name, but were known as the Brutes. Every one of these clans are nearly impossible to defeat. Of the Dragonane, Brute, Uzumaki, and almost the Senju, you are the last surviving heir. We have granted you the powers, abilities, and knowledge for each clan and their histories." Lilina, always having a thing for overpowered men, was practically drooling. Shiva and Jade both had a smirk and mischievous look in their eyes. Katana looked as if she had seen the hottest man on earth flash her, and Ino looked like she was going to jump and ride Naruto right then and there. Sakura, trying to be the modest out of the bunch, was desperately trying to keep her blush down while squeezing her thighs to hopelessly snuff out the raging fire between her legs. "Damn," Naruto said. "The motherfucking first Hokage. I'm related to the first fucking Hokage, fuck yeah. Okay, you know what, I'm not so mad anymore now that I know all of this stuff. Damn, the Shadaime Fuukiya man, that dude was a beast and I'm related to him. You're welcome, young man. However, there is a small price that we ask of you in return for all of this power. We need you to help protect the realms. We elder gods cannot interfere with mortal matters unless they are under special conditions, such as this one. Kotal Khan, the Aztec warrior who we know you've met, is planning on merging all of the realms into his own, much like Shao Kahn. However, he is trying to do it only halfway proper, through the Mortal Kombat tournament. He has already attacked your realm, has he not? He will not stop until either he is dead or has succeeded. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, we, the elder gods of all, task you with eliminating Kotal Khan by any means necessary. Whether that be through the tournament or otherwise does not matter. What does matter, however, is that he is causing unbalance between the realms. You are the Toad Sage of Mount Myaboku. Sage Naruto, it is now up to you to save the realms. Do this, and the elder gods of all shall owe you a debt. Do you accept this task?" Naruto looked at his hands and clenched his fist. There was no way he was going to let any fucktard become a tyrant and destroy anything, because the result would be some children suffering on the streets, just like he had. He couldn't allow that. I, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, accept the task given to me by the elder gods. I just would like to request one thing, if I could. Ask away, Sage Naruto. Can I have my mom and dad back? This, child, we cannot do out of a simple request. However, because we want to help you in your journey, we shall allow it. That will be the last request we shall grant, Sage Naruto." The golden dragons that were the elder gods once again rose on their rear legs, spread their magnificent wings out to the fullest, and gave another world-shattering roar. Golden light shone around the area in the center of the group. As it started to die down, the elder gods spoke one last thing before they faded away. "Sage Naruto Uzumaki, a request for a request. During your journey to eliminate Kotal Khan, there is a more indirect unbalance in Earthrealm. An endless feud between the Shirai Ryu and the Lin Kuei have been going on for generations. Today, it affects the last remaining Shirai Ryu general, Hanzo Hasashi, also known as Scorpion. And the Lin Kuei assassin, Kuai Liang, also known as Sub-Zero. It is now added on to your current journey to do as much as possible to resolve this conflict. Good luck, Sage, you shall need it." With that, the elder gods faded out of existence. The golden hue was still very bright, but it was fading quickly. Sakura, Ino, and Naruto couldn't believe what they were seeing. "Naruto?" came a motherly voice from the shining light. "Is that my son?" came another, a man this time. When everyone had blinked away the light from their eyes, there stood Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki, the parents of the Toad Sage himself. Naruto, trying to blink the tears away from his eyes, muttered out with quivering lips, "Mom. Dad." Kushina had a very bright and welcoming smile on her face, while her eyes were filled with love and warmth. "My son," she said a bit teary-eyed, "come give your mommy a hug." Without a second passing, Naruto launched himself at his mother, finally embracing her, getting what he has wanted his entire life. He felt an extra pair of arms wrap around the both of them. "My son, my wife," Minato began, "we can finally be together." Naruto couldn't hold it anymore. He fell to his knees, crying out hysterically, arms still wrapped around his mother's legs. Letting everything that he had held in since he could remember, absolutely everything, he could finally let every bit of it go. "I love you, Mom and Dad," he finally got out. "We love you too, son," said Kushina. Chapter 11. Oh, it's on now. Naruto got up from the ground, wiping his tears away. "Oh man, I've wanted to meet you guys for so long," he said to his parents. "Well, here we are, silly," Kushina said to him. "Son, before anything else is said or done, there's something I need to tell you," Minato said to his son. Naruto, a little warily said, "Yeah, what is it, Dad?" When I first sealed the 9 tails inside of you, I put a little of your mother's chakra, as well as little of my own, into the sealing formula. Your whole life, you've had about 1 shadow clone's worth each of our chakra inside of you. It wasn't much at all, so I had it set to activate at certain points in your lifetime. Mine was to activate and reveal me in chakra form if the seal were to loosen too much. And your mother's was to activate when it came time for you to obtain control over the 9 tails power. Now, because we have had some of our chakra inside of you this whole time, our chakra was able to obtain your memories. Since we are revived, which I thank you by the way, we just now received that chakra back. I just sorted through all of your past, son. Naruto was surprised as hell. He had a part of them inside of him and he never even knew it. To be able to seal a part of yourself into someone else, even after death, was a feat in and of itself, worthy to be recognized. His father really was a badass. "I'm sorry son," said his father. "Sorry for what dad? You were supposed to be recognized as a hero, that was my last request to the third Hokage," said Minato. "Instead, you were treated the absolute worst way possible, and I'm sorry." His features darkened and eyes hardened, just like a veteran shinobi's. "I promise my son, I will make them pay for their discretions. They always treated me with the utmost respect and adoration, and yet they nearly killed my son. In a way, they succeeded. Although not permanently, which is thanks to you, Kurama." The Lord of the Biju simply nodded in acknowledgement. "By the way 9 tails, I have something to give you," Minato said. Kurama looked at him in slight confusion. "What do you have to give me fourth?" "Something I took from you long ago. I think it's time that I give it back to you my friend." Minato walked up the great beast and held out his fist. Warily, the fox held out his own. There were not many people in existence that Kurama revered and was cautious about. This man was definitely one of the top 3. He did seal him away after all. He knew the man wasn't to be trifled with. He held out his hand and they bumped fists. Bubbly, blood-red chakra began to seep out of Minato's arm and it soon enveloped him. He became shrouded in the demonic chakra as it formed the shape of a fox. It receded back into his body and then through his arm and into Kurama's. Kurama felt the rush of the other half of his power return to him as he grew to his normal size, now 200 stories tall, and one paw was a quarter the size of all of Konoha. His 9 tails swished about, each one fully capable of destroying Mount Everest with little to no trouble. Kurama, the 9-tailed fox, Lord of the Biju, was back to his former glory. He let out a satisfied roar. He looked down at the former 4th Hokage and thanked him. "Thank you very much Minato. I feel like my old self again." "Well I certainly hope you don't feel like your old self," Minato joked. "Last time I had to seal you away, remember?" "Ha ha, very funny 4th. Hey, you set yourself up for it." "But I did. Damn you Minato. Kushina, I'd never thought I would say this, but it is good to see you again. You are as beautiful as ever." Kushina looked shocked. Her eyes were wide and her mouth hung open. She then waved an accusing finger at the great beast and yelled out to him, "Oh my god were you just hitting on me you stupid fox. My husband is right here, I'll have him seal your ass away again. Why I'll Kurama roared out in laughter. "And you are still as easily riled up as before Kushina. Remember when you first confessed to me about your feelings for Minato? Now that was fun, hahaha." Minato, seeing his golden opportunity, decided to join in on Kushina's embarrassment. "So, what did you say to the 9 tails, huh? She said that Kushina waved a warning finger at the fox. Then she planted her fists on her hips and said to the beast with a big smirk on her face, "You tell him what I said and I'll tell him about what you said about me in my bikini." "What? Kurama, what the fuck did you say about my wife?" "I didn't say anything. What he said was that Hey, keep your mouth shut and I'll keep mine shut Kurama. Deal?" Minato looked at the beast with suspicious eyes. "Oh I'll find out what you said about my wife Kurama, mark my words." Kushina interjected. She walked up to him sultrily and started to mess with jacket, smoothing it out, coping a feel for his chest, saying now why would you want to do that dear? I mean, you could if you want, but I thought it would be better if you saw me in my black skimpy thong bikini again, but hey, if wanna find out what he said then I guess you can do that instead. She was cut off instantly by a blushing Minato. And no, that's okay, I really didn't care a thought, he said quickly. Kushina laughed, and they heard Naruto laughing out loud as well. Ha 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 ha, mom got you good dad, ha 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 ha. If you ever say something like that again boy I'll wham. Minato sat on the ground, nursing the spot on the back of his head that Kushina just hit. He looked up and saw her smiling at him, a little sweet, and she said, "Minato, dearest, don't threaten my son. If you do, say goodbye to that bikini for good. I know it's your favorite one, so I'll get rid of it really wook if you do that again. Okay dear." "Oh okay honey, whatever you say." Kushina patted his head like a puppy. "Good boy." Naruto, still laughing, said, "Man I needed this. I love you guys." Sakura and Ino walked up to his parents and bowed to them. "It is an honor to finally meet you, Lord Fourth," Ino said to Minato. "I am Ino Yamanaka and the Sakura Haruno. We are classmates of your son." She leaned into Kushina's ear and whispered, "And I really hope to be something much more than that, Mrs. Uzumaki." "Ah, my boy," Kushina exclaimed. "Already getting a girl to follow you. I'm so proud of you, son." Shiva walked up to them, as did Katana, Jade and Melina. "I understand it that you are the parents of Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze?" Melina asked. "Ooh, oh, look at all the pretty girls, honey," Kushina said to her husband. "Which one do you think Naruto would get? They're all so pretty." Minato deadpanned at his wife's remarks. "Yes we are, and who might you be, ma'am?" Minato responded. "I am Melina, former Canon of Outworld, which is the realm we are currently in, just in case you weren't aware. I am Katana, Princess of Edenia. Jade, royal bodyguard and sister to Katana, and also Princess of Edenia. I am Shiva, Queen of the Shogun, and Naruto is my head mate and leader of the Shogun tribe, although he has not been officially declared as one yet." Hinata had finally walked back up to the group at this point. After she was blown away from Kurama's sound wave, she took the time to heal herself. She walked up to them and said, "And I am Hinata Hyuga." She bowed in respect. "It is an honor to meet you both." The air immediately thickened around the group. Minato and Kushina could tell that this girl, whoever she was, had definitely caused some sort of trouble with the rest of the group. "Yeah, and I bet it was honor sleeping with Sasuke too, wasn't it?" Sakura said. Kushina, getting into her overprotective mother mode, said, "What do you mean?" "Sasuke was my boyfriend before I found out today that he cheated on me with this harlot," Sakura said. "What?" Kushina yelled out. She gave hard look at Hinata. "You caused someone to cheat on their partner, how dare you?" "That's not all," Ino said to Naruto's mother. "She cheated on your son as well. With a good-for-nothing, dog-slobbering piece of crap, I might add." Now Kushina had murder in her eyes. Hinata Hyuga wasn't afraid many times in her life. Or afraid for her life. Right now, she was both. "You, Hyuga," Kushina began as she slowly walked around the girl. "I never liked that bitch clan. A clan works together to keep their bloodline alive. A clan is not just a group, a clan is a family. Everyone is there for everyone else, no matter what. The Hyuga people, they were always stuck up, selfish and arrogant in every sense, at every angle. The women were cheaters or were controlling. Sometimes both. The men were always assholes who believed the world was theirs and no one else's, and everyone around was supposed to bow to them because of their Byakugan." She stopped right in front of Hinata and looked her square in the face. "I see no reason to change my mind." Whack. For the third time today, she was sent flying back from bitch slap so hard that it cracked her cheekbone. She got up, a bruise already beginning to form. Newsflash: oh. One Uzumaki could take down the entire Hyuga clan by themselves, no problem. The Hyuga are weak and pathetic. They are weak and pathetic because they only care for themselves. I will spare you on one condition. You give me one good reason to justify your actions against Sakura and my son. If you give me a good reason, if there even is one, I won't rip your fucking eyes out. You have one chance. Go." Hinata shakily stood up, faced Kushina and said to her, "As far as Sasuke goes, he told me that he has been wanting me for years," she revealed. "He said that Sakura was always all over him and that he never got any space and that she wasn't even part of anything. She was Sakura, period. He said that I was part of a respected clan, even though I wasn't respected, but I kept going on, and he told me that he admired that with a great passion. One thing led to another and well, sniffling could be heard within the group." Ino looked at her friend, obviously hurt by what her former boyfriend had said about her. "That fucking bastard," Sakura said. Kushina looked at Hinata and said, "And for cheating on my son? For breaking his heart? What's your excuse for that?" Her eyes hardened at this point. She looked at Naruto, glaring right at his soul. She said heatedly, "He never showed me any attention. He was always mission this, mission that, Hokage this and Hokage that, I'm gonna be Hokage, me all the damn time. It was always about him. Kiba showed me the attention that I needed. He's from a clan. He has abilities. He has a family. He has." She then saw the fangs in Naruto's mouth grow longer as he smiled at her. "You know, that's funny," he said to her from the back of the group. "I remember asking you multiple times if you were okay to go on dates, to make love, to go hang out in the village, so many things, all the time. Yeah, I went on missions. So did you. We are ninja. That's what we do in our village, we go on missions. Even then, that only took up maybe 30% of our time. The other 70 was all about you. And I clearly remember, now that I think about it, that every time you looked at me, it was a fake-ass smile. But every time you looked at Kiba or Skikamaru or Shino or even that fat fuck Chaoji, that you were practically drooling over them. I don't know why I didn't see it then." Just then, something clicked in his head. "Wait a minute," he said. "Did you say that you slept with Sasuke too? So you cheated on me with my best friend? Bitch, what the fuck, man?" Minato was clearly very angry at this point. Hinata Hyuga, he said, you are very lucky I am not Hokage right now, otherwise I would have Anbu throw you in prison for life. You are a traitor to Konoha. I am not a traitor to my village. She said aloud. You betrayed my son, who saved the village and the world, I might add, so therefore you are a traitor to the village. He protected you, and you broke him down. He loved you, and you threw him away. You betrayed him, and you killed him. Hinata was shocked. K killed. Kurama chimed in now. He was tired of the pain caused by you, along with everyone else. He has been living with this pain ever since the event with you and Kiba was discovered. He took his life by unsealing me from his body, and we all know what happens to a Jinchuriki when they lose their Biju. He suffered a horrible death because of you, but it was even worse before he took his own life. Every day, he backed him less and less of his former self, because each day he knew you were up and out about, free and seeing other people, he was dying inside from your betrayal. He is back now because I saved him by calling the elder gods. No doubt you had seen those giant golden dragons come down the heavens. Those were the elder gods, and they brought not only Naruto back to life, but his parents as well. You, Hinata Hyuga, are out, and will always remain, on my most hated list. Not now, but when you die, either today, tomorrow, or 50 years down the road, whichever time it shall come, I will be there, and I shall make sure you suffer as Naruto did before you take your last breath. I, Kurama, Lord of the Biju, promise you that. Don't even bother big guy, Naruto said to his friend. I know about her additional mission assigned to her by her father, Hiashi. He wants her, along with every other Hyuga man and woman, to go around and breed with the other clans to mix them together, ultimately making the Byakugan the most dominant Kekkei Genkai in the village. Don't worry, LL make sure she suffers alright. Thanks for your support though. How did you know about that? Hinata exclaimed. I'm a ninja, remember? He said. You stupid bitch. Don't worry, I'll be putting Kiba and Sasuke in their places too, traitorous motherfuckers. Show them to fuck with me. He looked around and saw that there was no water in sight. This place needs some water, he said. You guys remember the Battery the second Hokage showed with his water affinity, right? Ino and Sakura nodded. Check this shit out. Naruto went through a series of complicated hand signs and, ending in the ram sign, shouted water style. Waterfall creation. Huge patches of earth rose from the ground and formed a 100-meter tall cliff and a huge bowl-like shape in the ground at the bottom, and water burst out from the channels in the crevices of the earth in that area, created a waterfall, and quickly filled up the concave shape in the ground below. Naruto stood there wiping his off each other and said, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is how it's done. He turned to the rest of the group and he said, as much as I would love to sit here and chit-chat, I do have a task given to me by the elder gods. So, let's get to it. Naruto, Minato said to his son. Yeah, Dad. I would like to help you, but we need to go back to Konoha first. I have some supplies there I need to get for us all. Okay, sure thing. What do you need me to do? For now, I just need you to find something here in Outworld that I can put my marker on. Marker? Yes. Marker for what, Dad? For my Hiraishin Jutsu. Naruto stood there stunned. Ooh, oh man, I love that move. Instant teleportation. Sweet. Okay, hang on, Dad. The 20-year-old blonde-haired ninja thought for a moment. Man, the sun is really bearing down on us, huh? We need some shade or something. The light bulb clicked on in his head. Wait a minute. Hey Dad, can you put a marker on trees? A little confused about his statement, he said, yes son, why trees? Because it's hot as balls out here and we need some shade, he said. Ahehehe, he said balls, thought he no. Naruto went through the hand signs and clapped his hands together, interlacing the fingers as he yelled out, wood style. Deep forest emergence. Instantly, huge trees the size of redwoods burst from the ground, covering the area they were in for a 2-mile radius. After about 5 minutes, the jutsu was complete and Naruto said, ah. That's better. Alrighty then Dad, you're up. Put on a marker somewhere. Everyone stood there, stunned speechless. Whoa. Ino yelled out. How the hell did you do that? What, this? The elder god said I have the power of the Shadame, remember? Minato made 50 shadow clones and told them, go out and mark as many trees as you can in this forest until you run out of chakra. The clones nodded before they spread out. Naruto looked up at Kurama. Hey buddy, he said, you wanna go back inside the seal now? Kurama nodded. He and Naruto bumped fists. Kurama's form turned into pure chakra, then was absorbed by Naruto. Kushina looked at the other girls and she said innocently, so, which one of you beautiful ladies will be dating my son? Mom? It's an innocent question, Naruto. Well, if I can speak for everyone here, Jade said. She looked at Katana, Melina, Shiva, Ino, and Sakura, and they all nodded. Jade nodded in return and said to his mother, I believe we all want to date him. Kushina stood there shocked. The girls stood there, awaiting the motherly backlash they were prepared to face. What happened next they were not expecting at all. Kushina flew back from a massive nosebleed, thinking of all of the perverseness that just went through her head. She then got up and quietly went to the girls and said, I have got to help you all pick out outfits for you. Ooh, the lingerie, the women, my boy, the possibilities, she giggled perversely to herself. I don't get it, said Sakura. Aren't you upset? Upset, Kushina said. Of course not. Then she got to thinking and she said, Sakura, are you still a virgin? Wah, Sakura stammered. No. I have done it Sasuke a few times twice for about 20 minutes each time and was satisfied and so I had masturbated off maybe Sakura muttered, embarrassed. Kushina, though, heard every bit of it. Ooh, oh my poor girl. She said. Hey, don't worry, I will reveal to you one of the best things about sex in the Uzumaki clan. Mom? What are you girls talking about? Yelled out Naruto. Be quiet son, this is girl talk. Naruto, a little confused, just walked away. Minato, seeing this setup before, simply hooked an arm around his son's shoulders and said don't worry about it son. Let's go home and get the stuff. Hey dad, Naruto said. I'm glad you and mom are back. Maybe things will get better. They will son. They will. Chapter 12 Return my hat. What do you need to get dad? Naruto asked his father. I need to get all of my sealing supplies and my kunai son. I'm sure all of my stuff has been confiscated from me and I need it back. We'll have to find some other way back to Konoha though, I can't sense my Hiraishin mark anywhere at all. Looks like I have to plant some new ones when we return. Wait a minute, Kushina said, you mean to tell me that we can't get back to go kick some ass? Oh how did I miss that mouth of yours Kushina Kurama said from within Naruto. Hey mom, said Naruto, Kurama says that he missed the wonders your mouth could do. What? I did not say that you brat. I'm just kidding, that's not what he said. I'm just messing with you. Naruto Kushina started. Minato waved a warning finger at her. Kushina stared at him in disbelief. Hey. You don't my own move on me Minato. You were about to get upset at him because of that little harmless prank he just pulled. And? He's your son, Kushina. Kushina thought for a moment and finally said, yeah you're right. Kurama has said a few things before about the wonders I could do with my mouth though. What? Hahaha. Gotcha. Damn woman, Minato muttered under his breath. What was that dear? Nothing. Sure it wasn't. Hey guys, Kurama said that he can help us get back to Konoha, Naruto revealed to the group. Well, call the biggie out, then son. Said Kushina. Okay, hold up. He turned to the MK girls and winked at them. Hey babes, check this out. Shiva, Katana and Jade got a little riled up. Shiva said what did you just call? Summoning jutsu. A huge puff of smoke later, the physical form of the nine-tailed fox emerged. Kushina. Do not call me biggie. I am not some cute toy when you had as a child. Kushina giggled to herself and said to the giant beast, but you're my big bad dangerous fox man. I can't call you biggie. Please. She finished off with the puppy eyes. Damn woman, Kurama muttered under his breath. What did you just say fox? Nothing. That's what I thought. Shiva looked at Naruto, I must say that was quite impressive young man. Continue to impress me and may be rewarded greatly. Naruto looked embarrassed as he sported a huge blush. Why yeah, okay Shiva. Back to business everyone. I can get us all back to Konoha now that I am back to my former self and have all of my power. Everyone, grab one of tails, we have to be connected in some way for this to work. Everyone quickly went around the beast to grab a section of one of the 9 tails. Okay, hold on tight. Kurama went through some very complicated hand signs and when he finished he slapped his 2 giants' hands together and shouted, demonic style. Dimensional rift jutsu. A huge puff of smoke later found themselves gone, leaving no trace of their presence in Outworld other than the huge forest and waterfall in the middle of a ruined wasteland. Gee, Kitetsu, Izumo, one of the Konoha gate guards said to his partner. When will there be an exciting day for us huh? Izumo, you are always complaining, you know that. The now named Kitetsu said. Guarding the gate is a very important duty. Hell I'd say it's almost as important as the Hokage's job. Izumo said in return yeah, we are protecting everyone inside blah blah blah, the same old phrase every single time. I know already okay. I just want some blood pumping action, you know what I mean. Just don't get complacent, said Kitetsu. Dude, I just want. He was interrupted by a giant puff of smoke just a few hundred yards away. Ooh okay, Izumo, is it me or does this look way too familiar? Yeah man, is that. Hello Kitetsu, Izumo. I have returned to Konoha, said the great beast. Anbu immediately surrounded the area, as well as Tsunade. What the hell is going on? Demanded the busty 5th Hokage. 9 tails. Where is Naruto? How have you been? Kurama nodded in acknowledgement in Tsunade's direction. Tsunade. I hope Konoha has been treating you well. We have returned, for now. And, we have quite a surprise for you and the rest of the village. What's going on Kurama? What are you talking about? Is everything okay? The resurrected forms of Minato and Kushina came from behind the tails they were holding onto. Tsunade was shocked beyond belief. The Anbu as well as the gate guards immediately went to one knee, shocked to see their beloved hero return. They all stammered out Lord Fourth. Yugao, the Anbu commander, stepped forward and asked Lord Fourth. How is this even possible? Minato replied with, Yugao, it's good to see you again dear friend. And as far as this miracle, you can thank both the Nine Tails and Naruto for their combined efforts. It's a long story, but basically, my wife and I were revived by the Elder Gods. Yugao's eyes widened behind her mask. The Elder Gods. Yes, chimed in Kushina. Let's go to the office, Tsunade, we will explain everything there. Oh, yes, of course, stammered Tsunade. I apologize for my lack of manners, but I was just stunned. Minato, Kushina, you're back. She ran up and hugged them both in a bear-crushing hug. Oh, how I've missed you both. So much has changed since your departure. Did you see Naruto? And why the hell is Kurama outside of oh no? Where's Naruto? Relax Bachan, I'm here, said the ninja, stepping out from behind one of the other tails. He motioned for the others and Katana, Jade, Shiva, Melina, Ino, Sakura and Hinata stepped out from the other tails. We're all back. Like mom said, let's go to the office and we'll give you an official progress report. Tsunade, now back in her Hokage persona, said alright. Off to the tower. They all prepared to leave via Shunshin, but Minato stopped her. She took off and said, actually, Tsunade, I would like to go through the village. You know, take the slow route. That's fine with me, said Tsunade. Gives me an excuse to stop by the liquor store, haha. Minato turned to the Anbu squad that had arrived earlier. In a commanding voice he said, Anbu, gather. Instantly, the squad of 12 Anbu gathered directly in front of the fourth. He said to them, I want all of you to go around the village and gather all of the Jounin and clan heads and have them report to the Hokage Tower in the next hour. If they are late, they will be demoted to genin and doing tour retrieval missions for a very long time. Hayandame-sama. Scatter. The group disappeared via mass Shunshin. He looked at Tsunade and told her if you don't mind, I would like you to return my hat Lady Hokage. Tsunade had a big smile and said sure, it's all yours. Hey. Naruto shouted at her. I've been saying that for years and all I got were punches to the face and things thrown at my head. My dad asks for it and you give it to him without even putting up a fight. What the hell man? Watch your mouth brat, Tsunade scolded him. It just so happens that your father however he and his wife were revived was the best damn Hokage this village has ever had, so you're damn right I'm gonna give him the hat again. It's okay son, said Kushina. I know you'll get the hat soon enough. Damn right I will. Wham. Language young man. Ow, mom. That hurt. Good. It was supposed to. Now show some respect. Yes ma'am. Kushina patted her son's head much like she did her husband earlier that day. Good boy. Mom, I'm 20 years old. Come on now, I'm too old for that stuff. Oh, you're never too old for good noggin son, replied his mother. Alright, let's go then, said Minato. The reinstated fourth Hokage walked down the streets of Konoha with his wife Kushina. The villagers couldn't believe their eyes when they walked by. The areas they went through went silent as they passed by. Some dropped some of their supplies because they were shocked. Why Yandame? A villager ran up and bowed to him in the middle of the street. Minato simply walked right into the bowing man, knocking him over roughly. Minato continued on as if he wasn't even there in the first place. One villager yelled out to him, we avenged you Yandame-sama. We had that demon banished. We have avenged you. Minato stopped dead in his tracks and turned towards the villager. He was a middle-aged man, late 40s, tall and chubby. He was a vendor. Selling green apples. The very same one that beat Naruto when he was 6 years old for trying to keep from starving. Minato remembered all of Naruto's memories, and he vowed to kill this man when he saw him. And here he was, not even 20 feet from him. An easy target for a simple kunai toss straight into the skull would do it. Minato turned his back towards the tower and resumed his trek to his office. Not yet, he thought. Not just yet. He and his wife along with Tsunade got many along the same reactions throughout the village. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity later and a lot of self-control from the sage's parents, they had arrived at the tower. They walked inside and went up to the office. Tsunade went inside the office first and closed the door behind her. All the Jounin and clan heads had arrived at the office as directed. She went around the room and stood next to the Hokage's chair. Greetings Hokage-sama. Guy yelled out loud. Everyone winced at the volume of the man's boisterous voice. I hope the fires of youth burn brightly inside of you. Hokage-sama, Hiashi Hyuga started, do you mind if I ask why we have been summoned? I do not mean to be rude, but I do have clan business to attend to, and I was in the middle of a clan meeting when I was summoned here. A new voice spoke from behind the Jounin and clan heads. If by clan meetings am I correct in saying that would be about you assigning members of your clan, specifically females, going around the clans to breed with them? To make the Byakugan the most dominant Kekkei Genkai in the village. Kakashi, knowing instantly who the voice belonged to, turned around and was shocked. Sensei. Hello Kakashi, how are you? Minato said. He walked around the group and sat behind the desk in the chair that he had loved so much. Why Yondaime-sama? The Jounin said as one. I have a question for all of you and I want an honest answer, do you understand me? Hi, Yondaime-sama. Good. Minato leaned forward on his desk, hands folded on top of each other. Who in this room ever thought that Naruto Uzumaki was the nine-tailed fox reincarnate? A random Jounin raised his hand. Ah, an honest man is among us I see. I never knew you son, what's your name? Minato asked the man. My name is Squelch. The nameless Jounin fell on the ground, a kunai buried to the hilt in between the man's eyes. He was dead before he even hit the ground. I'll ask one more time. Who here thought that my son was the Nine Tails? The Jounin were shocked to hear this news. Kurenai was the first to speak. Yondaime-sama, Naruto was your son. No, Minato said to them. Kurenai and Ibisu sighed in relief. Minato noticed this. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze is my son. Everyone was stunned to hear this. The village pariah was the legendary Hokage's son. Kurenai. Ibisu. Front and center now. The two Jounin were directly in front of the renewed Hokage in a second. I know you two thought he was the Biju. Why? He did not receive an answer. Answer? Me. Now. Still no answer. The fourth Hokage stood up and said, tomorrow at noon, all Jounin present will face me in combat. The Jounin immediately began protesting his order. Hokage-sama. You can't do that sensei. Minato held up a hand and the room went silent. Hiashi looked furious. I am Hokage, Minato stated. You are directly under my command, you will do as you are ordered or shall face the consequences. Is that understood? The collection of High Hokage-sama was heard throughout the room. Now, I want my wife and son, along with our guests, to come inside. But first, he snapped his fingers and 3 Anbu appeared at his side kneeling. Remove that nameless piece of shit from my office now. Hi, Yondaime. The 3 Anbu along with the dead Jounin disappeared in a flash. Minato looked up as a knock was heard at the door. Come on in. Naruto, Kushina, Ino, Sakura, Hinata, Melina, Katana, Jade, and Shiva walked in the room. At the sight of the Shokin, Kurenai and Ibisu stood in front of their Hokage. Do not worry, Lord Fourth. Ibisu said, trying to sound heroic. Kurenai and I shall protect you. Stand down you fool, Minato said. She's with us. They lowered their weapons but were still on guard. Hey dad, what's up? Naruto asked. The Jounin looked at Naruto in his new outfit. Looking good Naruto, I like the new getup, Kakashi told his former student. Thanks, Kakashi-sensei. Actually, on second thought, said Minato, instead of you facing me, you'll face Naruto instead. Huh? What do you mean dad? Yosh. Guy said. Naruto, I look forward to testing my flames of youth against you tomorrow. Ever since I have been healed after the war and got my legs back, I have been waiting to challenge you. I think you shall be my new eternal rival. Oh thank God, thought Kakashi. What? Really? Alright. Naruto said excitedly. Now, for the newcomers. Shiva, Melina, Katana, Jade, please step forward. Said women walked to the desk and stood in front of it, standing side by side. I know you are here with us and are not ninja of the village hidden in the leaves, however you must be recognized as one of our one for the time being. Therefore, you will be getting a Konoha leaf headband to signify your affiliation with us. Any questions? I have one, Melina said. Go ahead Melina. When will I be able to bed your son? Tsunade and Minato, as well with all of the other Jounin, were shocked at the abrupt and blunt comment. But how can she not, given the conversation that she and the other girls had with Kushina? Flashback earlier that day. Let me tell you a little secret about sex in the Uzumaki clan, Kushina told the girls, arms still around Sakura's shoulders. The Uzumaki were known and feared throughout the elemental nations for quite a few things, but their stamina was one of the biggest reasons. Both the women and the men could last in bed for hours at a time, and cum a lot, also multiple times. Minato could never outlast me, but that's not his fault, he's not in Uzumaki. And the men. The packages the men had were enormous. What's the biggest you've ever had, Kushina? Asked Ino. Well, I've only ever been with Minato, she replied. But he's a good 12 inches. What? Ino flew back with a massive nosebleed. Sakura stood there in shock as well as the other girls. Shiva, however, was not impressed. HMPH, Shiva got out. That is only normal in the Shokin tribe. Well, Kushina said, Naruto is in Uzumaki and he's taken after his father's looks for the most part. So, if you combine the fact that he takes after his father, the Mr. 12 as I like to call him, mixed with the fact that Naruto is in Uzumaki, you see. Well, yes, Katana stuttered. I cannot wait until I personally get a chance with him then. Then flashback present time. Yes, Minato said to Melina. I'll get back you on that one, okay? Any other questions? At a shake of their heads he said to the MK girls, "Okay, Katana, Jade, Melina and Shiva, here are your Konoha leaf headbands. You can wear them anywhere you like, just make sure that they are visible. If there is nothing else, you all may go. Enjoy your stay in my home village everyone. I will have a village meeting tomorrow at 4 o'clock sharp. So until then, have a good time and rest up." He then addressed the jounin in the room. "And especially you all need to rest up as well. You're going against Naruto. You're gonna need it. We saw what he is capable of during the war." Hiashi said to Minato. "We are fully aware of what he can do." "No," said Minato, shaking his head slightly, "no you do not. You're not even close." As Naruto and company were walking down the streets, he heard one of the voices he never wanted to hear again. "Hey Naruto. How are you man?" Kiba Inuzuka said aloud. Naruto stopped in his tracks. And the girls stepped aside to let Naruto handle his business. They would have prevented the man from even coming close to Naruto, but he had asked them before they had left for the streets that if he saw him or Sasuke that he would take care of them himself. Naruto turned around, a fake smile on his face. "Hey Kiba. How are you? Haven't seen you in a while." Kiba walked up to Naruto, his guard down, thinking everything was back to the way it was before the incident. Naruto placed a hand on Kiba's shoulder and said, "So, how's your stomach?" Kiba blinked in confusion for a second and said, Fine. I guess. You sure?" "Yeah, why, what's up Naruto?" "What's up Kiba?" "Yeah, what's up man? Why are you asking me about my stomach?" "Well, pretty simple really. Here, let me explain. When someone does something really horrible to someone, especially a friend, when do something to hurt them, if they are truly sorry for what they have or helped do, their stomach will be in constant discomfort until the issue is resolved. The stomach hurts because it is a physical reaction directly related to the emotional section of the human brain. When a person feels guilty and is sorry for whatever act they did, their stomach will hurt at least half of the time they are awake. However, if their stomach does not hurt, that basically means that they would do whatever act that they committed again and again and again. So, I'll ask you one more time. Kiba, does your stomach hurt?" No man. Idiot. Thought Hinata, he basically just gave you a free chance to lie and say that it did hurt and you didn't take it. Wrong answer. Naruto tightened his grip on Kiba's shoulder and pulled him in fast and hard. In one swift motion, the hidden blade on his wrist came out and he shoved it in Kiba's stomach as he pulled him in. Squelch. Aark. Kiba sputtered out, blood coming from his lips. "So tell me," Naruto whispered in his ear, "does your stomach hurt now?" Naruto twisted the 6-inch hidden blade inside of Kiba's stomach. "Ayok. Nar to the hell man." "Yeah, the hell man," Naruto responded, still holding him against the blade. "The hell you and my ex-girlfriend put me through is nothing compared to this. But, you made me suffer through that, so I'm making you suffer through this, you dog-sucking piece of shit." He yanked the blade out of Kiba's stomach and it retracted back into its compartment. He snapped his fingers and single Anbu appeared before him. "Sorry to bother you Anbu man, but this dumbus here accidentally ran into my blade. He needs to get to the hospital as quickly as possible before he dies of blood loss." "Ran into your blade, huh?" the masked ninja said. "You got a better idea?" "I'm all ears," said Naruto. "Nah, for this scumbag, I think falling into the garbage would hurt him. I'll take him in." "Thank you Mr. Anbu. Anytime. You need something Naruto, you just let me know." He disappeared with Kiba. Naruto heard a very aggressive growling from behind him. He pulled out the broadsword from his back and performed a wide arc strike with the blunt side of the blade. The huge form of Akamaru was slammed into one of the side of the buildings. Naruto walked up to the dog and held the tip of the broadsword an inch from the dog's throat. "Don't do that again, Akamaru," said Naruto. "My grudge is against Hinata and Kiba and Sasuke, not you. Don't become a part of my hate. Understand?" The dog nodded and limped away towards the hospital where his partner was undoubtedly being held. He turned to Hinata and got right up in her face. He unsheathed one of the hidden blades on his wrist and shoved it a single millimeter from one of her eyes. He was so fast she didn't even see him move. "And you," he said evilly, "the only reason why I ain't done shit to you yet is because I need you in the tournament. Which is coming up by the way. However, if you vex me even in the slightest." He made a carving motion with his hidden blade, "There goes one eye. And if you do it again, there goes the other eye and I'll cut off more and more, but I'll start with the eyes since you and every other damn Hyuga are so damn proud of them. So, in short, just don't even fuck with me right now, okay bitch?" Hinata shyly nodded her head showing she understood. Naruto backed off from her and was once again back in his former self. "So, who wants some ramen?" Just then, at the end of the village, a 15-foot wide hellfire-colored portal opened up and Kotal Khan emerged with 100 of his own Osh-Tech soldiers. He immediately saw Naruto and company and shouted to his small army, "Bring me their heads." All of the villagers in the area panicked and ran off away from the invaders. Naruto just looked at them, shrugged his shoulders and grabbed Melina, pulled down her mask, and pulled her body in for soul-searing hot kiss that lasted for a few long seconds. When he let her go, he put her mask back on, once again brought out his broadsword and said to her, "Check this out." He turned and ran towards the oncoming invading Aztec soldiers, sword ready to cut down anything and everything. Inside his mindscape he asked Kurama, "You ready to kick some ass and get laid afterwards, Kurama?" "Thought you'd never ask, kid. I'm gonna give you a power boost, get ready." "Ready when you are, big guy." On the outside, Naruto felt a huge rush of demonic chakra flood his body as his features slightly changed. Whiskers darkened even further, eyes became red with black slits, and his fangs grew longer, and his voice was mixed with Kurama's. As they roared, it was one of the scariest, most terrifying things the Aztec had ever heard. It was a demon coming for them. Naruto and Kurama's voice shouted as one as they ran to the battle. Raya. Chapter 13. You traitor. Kurama's and Naruto's voices roared as one towards the oncoming small army of Aztec soldiers. Raya. There were about 5 soldiers ahead of the rest, which Naruto cut down with supreme ease. He swung his broadsword in a wide horizontal arc, cleaving 3 of the 5 men in half cleanly. In the middle of the swing, he changed directions of the swing using the momentum and swung down. The 2 soldiers saw the attack coming and split apart, causing Naruto to miss. The massive blade hit the ground, causing huge chunks of earth to fly around. In the blink of an eye, Naruto grabbed a kunai from inside of his red trench coat and threw it into the eye of the soldier to his left. He then grabbed the sword and stabbed the 5th soldier, his entire torso split open. Blood poured from the victim's mouth like a steady flowing river as Naruto yanked the sword out none too gently. The soldier still stood few seconds, then Naruto Spartan kicked him a few yards away. The soldier landed, convulsed one last time, and moved no more. Naruto looked back at the rest of the oncoming horde. He thought for a second, lifted his sword and stuck it in the ground next to him. He went through a multitude of hand signs. Finally, he clamped his hands together and shouted Earth style. Earth wall. 2 enormous walls of rock rose from the ground on either side of the frontmost part of the small army. Each wall was about 20 feet high and 40 feet in width. Naruto went through a few more hand signs and shouted again, Earth style. Spike trap. Each wall suddenly sprouted 5-foot-long rock-hard spikes pointed towards the army. In an instant, the 2 inwardly spiked walls moved towards each other, anything that stood in between the walls got impaled by the spikes. The walls collided with a huge crushing noise. Dust, bone, and blood flew everywhere. Approximately 40 more of the soldiers were left. "That's it?" Naruto asked. "You bring so many of your men out here and I wipe out almost half of them in one hit. This is just ridiculous." The remainder of the army went around the 2 walls that had collided, enraged at what had happened to their fallen comrades. Kotal Khan saw the jutsu that was performed and was stunned. He had seen Tremor manipulate the earth and rock, but absolutely nothing on a scale of what he just saw. Seeing what kind of fight this was becoming, he drew his own saw-like sword out and ran into the fight as well. Only, instead of ninja, he began to cut down innocent civilians. Men and women would try to run away from him, only to be either brutally cut or sawed in half by his massive blade or burned alive with his power of the sun. He was about to kill another woman who was in his sights. He walked up to her and spoke. "You are allied with the people of this realm," he said. "This realm has made itself Outworld's enemy. And I will tolerate no enemies." He rose his sword up high, ready to strike and finish the woman. Just then, a barrage of kunai missed him by just inches. He looked at the direction they came from and saw a young woman with her long brown hair tied up in 2 long braided buns on either side of her head, a white Chinese-style dress, and red pants. She had a scroll wide open and she said to him, "Who the hell are you and what the hell do you think you're doing in my village?" Kotal Khan lowered his sword and walked towards Tenten. "Ah, so a little girl comes to battle the Emperor of Outworld," he said to her. "Emperor of bullshit," Tenten replied. "Your insolence will not be tolerated." Faster than Tenten had expected, he swung the giant saw sword and she had to use all of her ninja training just to avoid getting her head cleaved off. She rolled back and dodged again as his sword hit the ground right next to her. "He's so damn fast," thought Tenten. "How the hell can I get to one of my weapon scrolls if he won't even let up?" Finally having enough, Kotal Khan just said to her, "You are an impudent child and a waste of my time. You are not what I am here for." The markings on his body began to glow a bright orange-yellow color. He shouted something in the Aztec language as he reached up, seemed to absorb some energy and heat from the sun, and shot towards Tenten. The heat blast hit her directly in the torso and she flew back a few yards. She hit a side of one of the surrounding buildings and fell to the ground, knocked out. Kotal Khan looked ahead once again and saw Naruto and a few other ninja as well, including Niji Hyuga, Sakura, Ino, and Kiba, all fighting the horde of his soldiers. His forces were already cut down by 2/3. Feeling a little desperate, he called his troops back. "Aztec, to me!" Kotal Khan shouted. Almost with relief, the small army, or what was left of it, retreated to Kotal Khan's position. He then shouted at Naruto, saying you young children are quite able. However, and you defeat the brawn of one of my strongest. Farah. Tor. Attack. A huge beast of a seemingly human male, with a crazed little girl on its back came stumbling forward. Each step it took rattled the ground. The beast made a deep throaty growl-like noise as the little girl, Farah, shouted at the creature, haha. Let's play Tor. The crazy duo charged forward, simple mind set on only destruction and death. Naruto sheathed his huge broadsword on his back and went through a few hand signs. At the end, he shouted, wind style. Divine fist. He thrust his two fists out in a double punch. Farah and Tor flew back. The force that had hit them dead on could be compared to freight train hitting them. They flew back about 50 yards and came to a sliding stop on the ground, stopping at Kotal Khan's feet. Farah looked up, a little dazed, and said, Spike Blondie hit hard, then she passed out. Furious, Kotal Khan made a fist in the air, a faint greenish glow surrounding his hand. To his left, a large green portal opened, and Quan Kai emerged from the portal. How may I be of service, my lord? The necromancer asked. Quan Kai, Kotal Khan said, I need you to summon those two. Are you sure, my lord? Are you really having that much trouble? These people are far more combat trained than we had expected. Summon them now. As you wish, my lord. Quan Kai raised a hand, it also emitting an eerily green glow. A pillar of ice formed from the ground, slowly working its way up. It eventually took the shape of a human. Finally, the ice shattered, revealing a ninja garbed in blue and black gear. His skin was a light gray, with yellow veins and eyes glowing across his skin. Right next to the ice figure, a small patch of ground caught on fire. But it was not normal fire. Normal fire simply existed, it was just there, flaming and hot. This fire, however, was aggressive, actively looking for something to burn. Out of flames jumped another ninja, only this one was clad in yellow and black armor. The face mask resembled that of a scorpion, and his white empty eyes stared right into someone's soul. Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Kotal Khan said, attack and destroy your enemies. All of them. Without a second's pause, the two assassins sprang forward, already killing civilians and ninja alike. Whoever was frozen was soon shattered with a fist, or they were cut in half or burned alive in an instant. Naruto, instantly recognizing the two as the two warriors the elder gods were talking about, began walking towards the two. He made 4 shadow clones, and they all instantly disappeared. Scorpion and Sub-Zero, sensing that this young man was clearly a more serious threat, charged at him next. Naruto took out 4 shuriken, 2 in each hand, and threw them at the oncoming assassins. Being trained in the arts of assassination and everything in between, it was easy for the two to dodge the simple projectiles. However, they had never fought ninja with chakra before. Especially not one as powerful as our friend Naruto. The 2 shuriken, one passing each one of their shoulders, puffed into smoke, revealing themselves as Naruto's transformed shadow clones. Each clone grabbed the shoulders of the fire and ice users, then slapped a seal on the both of them. The real Naruto, sensing the seals had been placed successfully, slapped his hands together and shouted Fuin. Instantly, the 2 assassins ceased all movement. Kotal Khan shouted at Naruto, what have you done with my servants, child? Simple, really, Naruto replied with a victorious smirk on his face. I sealed them in time. Everything that they see is in real time, to them anyway. In the real world, they are pretty much frozen stiff. In short, they are stuck in between a few seconds ago and now. Kotal Khan, if he was angry before, he was absolutely livid now at the fact that Naruto had all but captured 2 of his best, and there was practically nothing he could do about it except cut his losses and escape while he still could. He needed to retreat, regroup, and replan his entire approach. He had thought that a simple attack on such a simple, seemingly unprotected village wouldn't take much at all. How wrong he was. Deciding to not end this invasion totally empty-handed, he walked forward and shouted to Naruto, you there, clearly you are the strongest out of everyone here. I acknowledge your power and skill. I challenge you to combat. What? Naruto said simply. You to my village and start destroying shit and now you just one up and challenge me? Bitch, you did that the motherfucking moment you walked through those damn gates. With a burst of speed, Naruto had crossed the distance between them and hit Kotal Khan in the face, sending him flying back towards his servant, Quan Kai, with a cracked jaw. I'll take care of your ass in tournament in a few days, jackass. Until then, enjoy your broken jaw. Kotal Khan stood up as Quan Kai made a portal to Outworld behind them and said to him, come, my lord. You must recuperate. Kotal Khan took one last look at Naruto as he said to him, boy, your power, your strength, your skill, everything will be mine before this coming tournament is over. Yeah, we'll see, Dumbus. Get the fuck out before I kill you. Kotal Khan, Quan Kai, and the remaining of the Aztec forces went through the portal before it closed. Naruto looked around, saw that, even though the losses they had suffered were minimal, they had still suffered losses to begin with, and most of them were civilians. Naruto bowed his head in shame and said, fuck. I could have saved them. But I wasn't fucking fast enough. Don't worry Naruto, a new, yet familiar voice said to him. We'll get the bastard. Naruto looked up slowly, eyes completely red, with no black slit. Just pure, blood-red eyes. Whiskers as dark as they could get and fangs 2 inches long. His face was scrunched up in pure rage as he spoke the name of the person currently in front of him. Sasuke. He had remembered everything that Hinata had said about his, well, now former friend, the instant he heard his voice. The betrayal to not only himself but also to his teammate angered him to no end. Also, the fact that he had been sleeping with his ex-girlfriend simply because he was from a clan and trying to spread the Byakugan really pissed him off too. He grabbed Sasuke by the collar of his white jacket and pulled him close, noses touching, Naruto growling in his face. Sasuke Uchiha was a veteran shinobi. He had seen many terrible things, abandoned his own village for power, was with Orochimaru for years, killed his brother, temporarily joined the Akatsuki, fought in the war, and defeated his greatest challenge in his life so far, Kagaya. With all that under his belt, he didn't get scared or even intimidated in the slightest by hardly anything. But right now, with that pure demonic face in his, he was pretty damn terrified. Even though his face didn't show it, he was scared. Naruto spoke to him, however it wasn't his voice, it was the Nine Tails. The one word was all that was spoken. It didn't have to say very much, but the tone it was used, it gave him a pretty clear message saying that Naruto was not particularly happy with him right now. You're so lucky I have wounded to attend to, or would rip out your intestines right here, right now. You filthy, nasty, disgusting traitor. I may be a demon, I may be one of the 9 Biju, I may be a destructive force of nature, but I am no monster. You and your clan have always been self-centered, arrogant, little pricks right from the very start. Naruto may not have been the strongest of us back in the day, but he can easily defeat even me if he really put his all into it. And do you know why? Because he was always loyal. He absolutely never, not once, betrayed any of his friends or colleagues, even if he had a reason to. Hell, he had more of reason to destroy this entire damn village than anyone else combined, and yet he actually protected it. He protected you. After all of your bullshit, he still never gave up on you, not once. He was your sole anchor and hope to a better life, and what do? You sleep with the only one who has really cared for him his entire life. Or did, anyway, until she betrayed him. Then it clicked for Sasuke. Shit, he thought, he knows about me and Hinata. I can explain, he began before he was interrupted. Silence, you worthless Uchiha. Naruto, free me so I can eat him. Possessed Naruto began to slowly walk to Sasuke, his claws elongated and ready to draw plenty of blood. Just before he got to him, Hinata jumped in the way and said to him, stop it Naruto. You won't hurt him. Possessed Naruto just looked at her plainly, full red eyes boring into her pupilless ones. Then he chuckled softly, eerily. Hinata felt a very cold shiver run down her spine. Stupid traitor. I'm not Naruto. I'm not as forgiving as he is. You betrayed Naruto, which, in turn, means you also betrayed me. His claws lashed out faster than the human eye could see and slashed Hinata across the chest, not draw any blood, but instead exposing her well-endowed chest for all to see. She tried to hide herself with her hands, but possessed Naruto grabbed them both and said to her, what's the matter slut? I thought you liked exposing yourself to everyone. You did it to me with all of my friends, so why the hell not everyone else? Stupid Hyuga bitch. I am really looking forward to my chance at eating you, ha 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 ha. Possessed Naruto kicked her in the stomach and she had bent over and fell on her knees, gasping for air. He then picked her up by the throat and punched her to a wall and she slid down the wall to the ground, knocked out. He then turned to Sasuke and said to him, don't worry, I haven't forgotten about you, you damned worthless traitor. I have these innocent to help out, but make no mistake, I am coming for you. Possessed Naruto laughed out loud as he walked away. Chapter 14. Help her please. Medic ninja and doctors and nurses scrambled around the hospital, tending to multiple patients at once. It was nothing anywhere near as bad as it was during the attack of pain as it came to be known as, but they needed to treat it as if it were worse. After all, these were the lives of families at stake in the hospital, mostly civilians. Sakura, Tsunade, and Shizune scrambled around, going to where they were needed most to treat the more critically injured. The entire day went on like this, since most of the injuries were severe, some were critical, others were life-threatening. Very few were actually not the worse for wear, but the ones who had suffered those types of wounds were the ninjas, and they could bandage themselves up for the most part. And if not, they could afford to wait. It was actually quite relieving. Having the ninja or others tend to themselves while the doctors tended to the more severely wounded worked out quite nicely. Everything was working smoothly. Slowly, but smoothly. The hospital currently had about 85 injured from the attack from Outworld, but most of them had been treated. Only a handful had to stay overnight for observation. Then Tsunade and Sakura were called into the operating room over the intercom. Operating room 117 to Tsunade. We need your assistance for blood hemorrhage and head trauma stat. Tsunade to operating room 117 immediately. Tsunade looked at Shizune and told her, Shizune, you look after these people here. I'll be back as soon as possible. Hi Shizu, Shizune replied. Tsunade ran down the hospital halls as fast as she could. Upon arriving at the operating room 117, she pushed the doors open to reveal a team of doctors surrounding a woman with shoulder-length, jet black hair and her pink and black armored outfit on, covered with blood. The wound was coming from a huge gash on her thigh, where the black overlapping metal plates had been cut by something extremely sharp. If the woman had not been wearing the armor, her leg would have been cut clean off. There was also blood coming from the side of her head as well. Her eyes were closed, one of them being covered by the copious amounts of her own life-giving fluids. What happened? Tsunade asked. One of the doctors replied, she was brought to us on a stretcher just a few minutes ago. We are trying to stabilize her but it's not going very well. We need your help. Tsunade walked to her and began healing the wound on her leg. The doctor, shocked by this action, asked her why are you healing her leg? Her head has been injured, that should be the priority. No doctor, Tsunade said back, the priority should be to contain the blood. She is not stabilizing because you have not treated her most threatening wound, which is the one here on her leg. She was cut very deeply, down into the femoral artery. You are lucky that I got here when I did, otherwise her death just a few seconds later would have been on your permanent record. What kind of doctor are you anyway? Who doesn't know that? The doctor looked away ashamed of himself. She was completely right. He had handled pressure-filled situations before, but never on a scale like this. He had apparently lost control, and it nearly cost a woman her life. Tsunade said to one of the nurses, I need you to go get me Naruto Uzumaki now. I'm almost out of chakra, he's the only one who has enough chakra to do this. Hi, Lady Tsunade. The nurse said as she ran off. Then she got an idea. She looked at another nurse and told her, I need you to go get the fourth Hokage right now. Tell him he needs to go to operating room 117 immediately, and if Hess not here in 5 minutes, I will burn every one of his damn perverted books. Hi. That brat better get here quick, thought Tsunade. I've bought Melina a few minutes at most, but I'm almost out of chakra. Naruto, I need your help. The fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze, who had recently sat down in Ho's chair once again a few days ago, was sitting at this desk going through all of the demanding paperwork like it was nothing. He had dispelled his 50 shadow clones that were going throughout it all to go throughout the last few pages himself. He was concentrating on a proposal brought by the civilians to rebuild a part of their school when the nurse that Tsunade had sent out to retrieve him burst through the door, yelling out Hokage-sama. Tsunade needs you to find Naruto and to bring him to the operating room 117 immediately, someone's life is at risk right now. Minato, immediately going into Hokage mode, stood from his chair and said to the nurse, thank you for the message. Tell Tsunade I will be there in just a minute. Just like that, he was gone in a bright yellow flash. Thank Kami he can still do that, muttered the nurse. Naruto was enjoying his meal at Ichiraku Ramen when a random nurse ran up to him and yelled out to him, Naruto. Lady Tsunade needs you at the hospital now. Huh? Thought Naruto. But I'm alright, what's the ma? He was interrupted when a bright yellow flash blinded him momentarily. He looked back after blinking his eyes a few times to see his father standing right before him, and he said, Dad. How's it going? Son, you need to come with me, Minato said. Sorry, no time to explain. Just take my hand. He held out his hand and Naruto grabbed it. In an instant and another bright flash later, the two blondes were gone. Gucci, the owner of Ichiraku, said aloud, but he didn't pay for his meal. Minato and Naruto arrived in a flash right outside of operating room 117 when Minato told his son, Tsunade is in there working on a patient and she desperately needs your help, according to what was reported to me just a minute ago. Well, then, let's go. Naruto said. Oh, and Dad. Yes son. You have got to teach me that jutsu. Minato smiled at his boy. Sure thing Naruto. Now go help out Tsunade. Hi, Hokage-sama. Naruto smiled at his dad as he walked in the doors to the operating room. Ah, how can he say something like that seriously and yet be sarcastic at the same time? Thought the fourth Hokage. Well, he is Kushina's son after all, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. When Naruto walked through the doors, he saw right away why Tsunade called for help. She looked the worse for wear, clearly from chakra exhaustion. Tsunade saw him coming and said to him, about damn time brat. Come here, I need you to transfer your chakra to me. You are the only one who can with Kurama's help. Sure thing Granny, Naruto said. Hey, instead of that, I can actually create a shadow clone with Kurama controlling it and transfer the chakra that way, it would faster and more effective. Would that work for you? The faster the better brat. Do it, I'm trying to heal one of your friends over here. Naruto looked closer through all the working doctors and nurses and saw that it was Melina who was apparently badly injured. "Oh shit," he exclaimed. "What the hell happened?" Shadow clone jutsu. The shadow clone popped into existence with Kyuubi features, darkened whiskers, elongated teeth, and the red eyes, along with the wilder blonde hair. The shadow clone, now apparently being controlled by Kurama, spoke to Tsunade. "What exactly happened to her?" "I need you to take off your jacket, Tsunade. The chakra transfer works only through skin-to-skin contact." Tsunade got upset at this. "You damn fox. You're just trying to cop a feel, aren't you?" "Quiet, child," the Kurama clone told her. "I just told you, skin-to-skin contact is the only way for this jutsu to work. It goes directly from one chakra network to the next, without the use of any transfer filters, if you will. There are 2 entrance points for the chakra networks, which both connect directly to the source of your chakra, which you know is your heart. I can either touch you from the front of your body or the back. I told you I need to touch your back. That is, unless you would prefer me to grab your tits and do it that way." The Kurama clone finished with a smirk. Tsunade had a very large tick mark on her forehead. "Why you little of I don't want you to do that, you damn perverted fox. Then shut the hell up, turn around, and take off your jacket." Tsunade reluctantly turned around and did as she was told. She very carefully let down a little of her grey shirt down over her back, still covering her chest. She heard the Kurama clone doing very complicated hand signs as he spoke to her again. "Your luck that I actually like this woman, she is perfect for the kit, and I like me a feisty woman with some attitude. Much like yourself. You'd be a perfect fit for the boy as well. Now, try not to move, my chakra is much more potent and powerful than any other, so it may or may not sting, but I'm sure a Sannin like yourself can handle it. Get ready. Demonic style. Pure chakra transfer." The Kurama clone slammed both hands on Tsunade's back, directly behind her heart. She felt a huge rush of chakra, more and more potent than she had ever felt before. Within seconds she was loaded up with more chakra than she had ever had in her entire life. After about a minute, Kurama told her, "It is done. You should more than enough to fully heal her 10 times over. Good luck, Tsunade big tits." "Ahahaha." The Kurama clone dispelled laughing, and Tsunade swore to give him a good and broken jaw later on, but for now she needed to heal her patient. She felt Naruto grab her arm firmly and she looked back at him, surprised to see a pleading look in his face. "Please," he said, "help her, Bachan." Tsunade smiled at him. "Don't worry, brat, I got her." She turned back to her patient after she had fixed her shirt and jacket. She once again placed both hands forward and began healing Melina as fast as she could. Within 5 minutes, she completely healed. Melina was out cold, but otherwise okay. She turned to Naruto and told him, "Don't worry, brat, she's gonna be fine. Some much needed rest and she'll be good as new." Naruto did something that he hardly ever did to anyone. He bowed low to her. "Thank you, Tsunade Senju," he said. "I honestly don't know what I would have done without her." Tsunade, surprised by this, asked him, "Is she really that important to you?" "Why?" Naruto stood up straight and told her, "Because she is one of the very few, aside from yourself, that has actually helped me out at all. Recently, she pulled me from my darkness. She pulled me from the abyss I thought I was in." Tsunade clearly understood what he meant. She had known about his little trip down to the end and how he was helped out of it, at least the first time, and that someone had helped him out but didn't know who it was. Now, she knew, and she had Melina to thank for it. "Don't worry, brat. Like I said, she'll be fine. Now go to the Hokage's tower, he called for a meeting earlier. He needs us all there now." With that, the two left off for the tower. Naruto looked back to get one last look at Melina before she was wheeled off to a recovery room. "I will always be there for you, Melina," he thought. "I promise." What if neglected Naruto was in Mortal Kombat? Thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel and leave a like if you guys need the next part, comment down, and thanks for watching the video and see you guys in the next video.